Quick hands, and we're back for the half century, people. We made it. Episode 50. Boys.
We did it.
Artie, so glad to have you back, mate.
Thank God. Back,
Looking
mate.
nice and tanned here. You just come out of a frying pan.
Looking forward to it, man.
I can't believe you're on time. Session brought you in time.
He did. He did well, mate. Yeah.
We got everything here. We got donuts with the logo on it. We got balloons. We got mugs.
Mate, fantastic setup. It's great.
And
Big
we
5-0.
got a big show.
Big 5-0.
We got a big show.
I remember those days cramping around a little microphone, Artie. And you remember when we had 40 minutes? And then you had to join it? Every 40 minutes will be over. It was funny. It was funny compared to now.
Shout out to Anna and Anthony for the setup they've done. It's been fantastic. It looks great.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good out of everybody here, we've got the easiest part.
Yeah, I know.
We just rock
all
up
the
and go
hard
home.
work that goes on behind the scenes.
Yep.
We've got the easiest part.
Fantastic.
But
in every way, actually, in every way.
Absolutely.
Especially the Wonder Boy, where we're sitting now and everything around us, it's all because of him. I've done nothing. I did nothing. Nothing, guys. Nothing.
We just turn up. We just turn up.
That's it.
But round 20, where's round 22, George?
In the bag.
It's in the can.
In the can,
mate.
In the can, Nicola, in the can. What am I doing?
Let me ask you boys something. What's your favourite? Yeah, let's go off track for a minute. What's your favourite part of the show?
Favourite part
that we do every
Or
week?
favourite episode? Yeah, got a favourite episode?
Or a favourite episode?
Oh, jeez. You go first, mate. I've got to think about it.
Okay. My favourite part of the show is getting together with you blokes. Number one, and I'm a massive fan of spam.
Artie's spam segment.
I actually wait for spam every week, and there's about 6 psychos that ring me every Friday or Thursday or Friday regarding spam mail. There's one guy, I call him the brush guy, every Friday. I get that phone call about spam.
It's a big hit. Everyone I know loves it.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
And I like, you know what I like? I like, and it's something I'm going to speak about later, but I like how we shift from the hip.
Yeah.
We say it how it is.
And
sometimes
you know what?
uncomfortable.
And you know what? Something else which our listeners or viewers might not know as well is that we record every show live.
Yeah.
There's no editing here. We hit record, we hit stop.
Yeah.
Our producer, who's off camera, you can't see him. He does all the magic work with the shorts and all that stuff. But we don't edit. We record live, raw from the hip, and that's how we roll. It is what it is.
You know what my favourite part is? How we follow the plight of the world champions, Saint Helens. It's always good to know what's happening over the
Artie's right. That's my favourite. That's my favourite part of the plot every week.
Of England.
We follow the plight of Saint Helens.
Bloody Saint Helens.
I didn't know anything about Saint Helens at the start of the season.
Man, Lee Leopards.
Lee
jersey,
Leopards, the ugliest jersey in history.
Following the Lee Leopards.
And my favourite episode, I don't actually know what number it was.
What happened?
When you fellas surprised me with the Napoli intro after we won the... Yeah, so
Boy Wonder.
that's
Boy Wonder again.
That was I didn't see that one coming, so that was an awesome surprise.
Boy Wonder again.
That was an awesome surprise.
Yeah, no, it's some moments are pretty good. But you know what? Just getting together on a Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
And it's soon to be Tuesday apparently. And seeing you guys.
And talking about our favourite subject.
Talking about something we love passionately.
Passionately, yeah.
Absolutely.
Probably the best part of the whole week. I actually look forward to it.
Absolutely.
When the episode finishes, I can't wait to hear it back.
Yeah.
And I hear it back and I watch it as well. Okay. And I hear it again. And then when that's done, I can't wait to the next week.
Yeah.
So that's me. That's me.
There you
Unfortunately.
Yo guys, it's Anthony.
Hey.
There he is.
The Wonder Boy, like everyone says.
The Wonder Boy.
It's pretty cool that we're here for the 50 episodes. I made a quick video to show you guys a little recap on something.
Beauty.
Some surprises in there, some stuff you might not expect. But yeah, I'm just gonna set it up now.
Yeah.
You guys can continue talking.
Awesome.
Yeah, no worries. Let us know when you're ready to roll.
Bet easy.
Is
You
it
guys-
a PG rating or is
It
it?
is. There are some. Let's see.
I really
Viewer
don't know.
discre-
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got no idea, Artie.
Yeah, viewer discretion is advised because we swear like drunken sailors.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, it's your problem, right?
Well, you know what? I might as well, if one of the boys got a few minutes to set it up. You got a few minutes to set it up? I might as well get something out of the way and talk about the dark side of the NRL and the NRL media. And I won't go
dark
too
side.
hard. Won't go too hard. And this is
the dark side.
Yeah.
Sounds intense.
this is no.
does.
This is unscripted, and Arthur and Nicola don't know about it. A friend of the pod or another pod, the lads, Lad Rugby League. They've got pulled off some of their shorts on Insta from the rugby league.
From the NRL.
From NRL.
Okay.
And they've been going through this process for a while now, trying to get their stuff back on. One thing leads to another, Nicola, and sometimes who you sit next to, or the person in the next cubicle, or the cleaner, or the coffee guy, you'll be surprised who knows who and knows what and this that.
What level of governance does the NRL have over an independent podcast?
That's a very good question. And you know what? NRL must have a lot of power because they actually strip these kids. And you know what? They're a bit different to us. I don't think that we're content creators. I've never thought that we were. We just get together and shoot the breeze.
All we do is relay a message.
Yeah. And you know
as
what?
we see it.
And you know what? From day one, you called it. This is one of your ones. You said it's the pod that tells it how it is.
We're the pod that tells it like it is. That's it.
So we've got to a number that NRL calls critical mass. So we get to a certain amount of listeners, viewers, whatever. It's more listeners, and unfortunately, we're on their radar.
So for those of you who don't know, critical mass means that we've amassed a certain number of listeners, viewers, subscribers now, where we're getting noticed.
Yeah,
and the NRL is taking a look at that. Good.
Yeah. Well, look, it stems from my rants on referees, and it actually all started from the KISS thing. Your KISS.
Well,
your
good.
KISS
I hope
rant.
they listen and they get it damn right, because I'll say it again. I don't want to see Jimmy Barnes perform at the grand final.
I think we will.
All right? And if you don't want us to complain about referees, then get it damn right in the first place.
And I just want to, because you know what, people are listening. I just want to make it very clear that if something happens, a forward pass, or if the referees are going to be inept, or if the bunker's going to be inept like they are, I'm not going to stop saying anything, and the Wonder Boys are not going to stop making shorts about it.
We are
that's
not
all
going.
I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say about
Let's be
that.
clear about something, and Artie, I'm curious to get your input on this. We're not going to be censored by anyone. You're not going to shut us up. We come from a generation that we don't get offended, and we don't care if you do. So if you don't like it, it's your problem. If you like it, keep listening. We'll give you plenty of entertainment.
And I want to apologise to both of you guys, because this is something that's unscripted or
What is scripted?
There was no notice.
Okay,
and I'm thinking more about Artie, because I know you don't care. But Artie's a bit different. Artie's the voice of reason.
Yeah, no, I don't play the political game per se. At the end of the day, all we're doing is reporting on what we see, and we're not saying anything that isn't being reported through all the other mediums out there.
I don't think so.
The shows, the radios.
If they want to pick something, pick on Buzz.
Yeah,
Pick
exactly.
on Buzz.
We're just giving it from a friend's perspective.
Or Willie
That's
Mason.
all it is.
Exactly.
That's all we're doing.
No, but they're selective on their targets.
Yeah. That's
They
what I
think
mean.
they'll. Seriously, if you think we're easy targets, come get some.
You know what? These kids, and look, it's the first time I spoke to them today, and I went back and looked at their stuff, and they are content creators.
Yeah.
They really are. They believe
We're
in
not.
it. We're not.
We're not.
We just tell it how it is.
Yeah.
So maybe they perceive that we are content creators. I think we're a bit too old to be content creators, and all we care.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. But I just want to. I promised the kids I'll say something on our pod because they'll be listening too.
The fact of the matter is that the game's in a pretty poor state at the moment, and they can wax lyrical about, our ratings are the highest in our crowd. Yeah, that's great, but I've never heard people complain about the game more now. Where you go and watch a game, your team scores a try, you can't even celebrate it for 3.5 minutes.
Mm.
You know, there's a lot going wrong, and referees are making stupid mistakes, and everyone's talking about AI now. 3 years ago, no one could spell AI. All of a sudden, everyone's experts on AI. Well, you know what? If you can build a robot that can go and row a boat, then surely you can use a television to see whether a pass is forward or not.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
That's true.
And more. But anyway. How about we move on to the Boy Wonder? What do you got for us, Boy Wonder?
All right.
Okay, sure.
Do you want to roll into Controversy Corner until we're ready?
Let's do it.
Pappenhausen, he's back this week.
Wow.
He's back in Queensland Cup.
In Queensland Cup, yeah. Well,
It's
good to see.
Over
Fantastic.
a year. He's been out for over a year.
Yeah, wow.
So,
Well, I hope he's sorted out now and he lasts for many more years now because he's had a lot of time off, man, and we've missed him because he's an entertainer. Like, we've got Roos Walsh and Ponga now filling the gaps, but we just probably forgot how good this guy was as well.
How good would he have been in the New South Wales team this year?
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
And not only has he had terrible luck with injuries, but he had a bad run of concussions before that as well. So I think what Bellamy's trying to do is give him maybe 2 or 3 rounds in Queensland Cup for some match fitness and get him ready for the semi-finals. I hope he can stay injury free.
I was wrong, Artie. When we had Troy here, both Nicola and Troy suggested that he should go through Queensland Cup, and I said that someone like Pappenhausen, you know what, he does contact training anyway.
Yeah.
You put him on the bench and you give him 10 minutes, you know what I mean, and you pull him straight off. Obviously, the super coach down there or John Crease thinks he should do 2 or 3 games in Q Cup. But let me tell you, if he comes back 80% of what he was
a week later,
what he was, Melbourne, he will change that.
Oh, they're
team.
a threat, absolutely.
Like Reece Walsh changes Brisbane. Because we look at Brisbane with Reece Walsh and we think they're a chance of winning the comp. You take Reece Walsh and I'll tell you now, there's no chance of them winning the comp.
No way.
Brisbane, okay.
He's the difference between last year and this year.
Yeah. So Pappenhausen, 80% in that Melbourne team, and I feel sorry for Meany. But anyway,
that's what I'm going to say. I think he's been doing a good job.
I think they'll find a spot for him. I don't think he'll get dropped.
I hope so, because he's been jerked around at Newcastle. Definitely 100% jerked around at Canterbury, okay? And looks like he found a home at Melbourne, okay? And then Pap comes back. And I'm sure he's got no problem. I mean, he's going to know, Pap's coming back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I hope I hope they find a spot for him.
Yeah.
But, watch his space because...
A lot of teams should be looking out for this meaning,
Absolutely.
to be honest. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he'll fit into another
He's a
club.
good player.
Great
He's
player.
a very good player.
Yeah.
So
I was hurt when he left us.
I mean, you mentioned earlier about the whole referees thing. So what about the Dragons, Artie?
Oh, don't.
What about? No, let's put it out. And Graham Annesley came out and defended the decision. Yes.
You know what
He said the decision was correct.
You know what the sad thing is, mate? I came back from Hawaii on Saturday afternoon, refreshed, calm, absolutely. I couldn't wait, And I literally got in the door, unpacked, and by 5:30 I was sitting in front going, I'm finally going to watch a game of rugby league. 2 hours later, depressed, stressed, confused. It was terrible. Because I heard the referee say he's over the line, just check for grounding. That's all the referee sent it upstairs for. So they come back and they go, balls touch the ground.
Yeah.
He's over the line. No try. And everyone's just going,
What?
What?
Yeah.
What?
And now they came out with some convoluted explanation that we're supposed to understand that.
It's
right?
terrible.
We're supposed to understand that.
No.
That was from the hip drop, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they called it back for the hip drop.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you look at it and you don't know about a hip drop, you don't think there's nothing underwards.
There's nothing in
it. Was
it.
a tackle.
So he got 4 games for that.
Yeah.
4 games.
And
And that's what I'm trying to get. He's got 4 games. That's his season. 4 games for him. He he made a tackle and
that no one saw.
Momentum swung him around a little bit.
But no one picked it up at the time.
No.
Right? They came back to it. The bucket came back to it.
And you know what annoys me? You know what? We're not... NRL, forget the magazine shows, they think we're stupid.
Yeah.
Okay? But the NRL think that we're stupid. And we don't... When we see something, we can't tell that it's a try or not a try, or a forward pass or not a forward pass, or a hip drop or not a hip drop. They treat us like we're imbeciles.
Yeah.
Guess what? We know something about the game. A little bit. We know a little bit about the game.
Yeah.
But you know what? To see that, what happened to poor Jack, okay.
Oh, it's crazy.
And let me tell you that it's not the first time Jack's been handed a pineapple.
Oh, do we have to go down
in his
that
life.
path? Yeah.
Okay. It was obvious. So I feel for Jack. And you know what? It's lucky that this year for the Dragons, they're just going through the motions. I mean, 4 games, they're not going to make the 8. Okay. But let me tell you, if they're on the edge of the 8, trying to make the 8, and you get rid of a crucial player like Jack DeBellin, okay, because he's the heartbeat of that team. Am I right, Adi?
Yeah, he is.
He's the heartbeat of that team, basically. Heartbeat of the team, right? Then they've just destroyed a team's year. Okay, and what did I say? This year, if it's going to be any year, this is the year that a mistake from the referees is going to determine a semi-final or a grand final. I can just see it.
Well,
I've always said that will never happen. The grand final, it's always going to be one on merit. I'm doubting my
well, you know what? I'm asking for trouble here, but I don't care because I kind of love trouble anyway. You know, talking about DeBellin or Dylan Brown or even Paul Kent, who's not part of the NRL, he's a reporter, but the NRL get their tentacles into Fox Sports now. Yeah. Anyone who does something gets stood down from their job until they go to court. And if they're proven innocent, like Jack DeBellin was, what happens? I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, if I go out and get charged with something, I don't get stood down from my job because I'm worried about public perception. I'm worried about what people are going to think. They've got their tentacles into the media now as well.
Yeah, they have.
Paul Kent was charged with something. He's got to go to court in December. He's been stood down from Fox Sports. Yeah. And make no mistake about it, that's because the pressure from the NRL.
Absolutely. Yeah. And can I just say something that, and we're talking about the media and we're talking about 360. And in terms of 360, I've done some digging, and the viewers of 360, which is a very, very well viewed show.
Yeah,
okay?
it's probably the most.
It's over 40s.
Yeah.
Okay, so under 40s or definitely under 35s are looking more for YouTube shows, looking for this kind of thing. Podcasts. Yeah. And I'll say it again: we are not content creators. We don't pretend to be. We're just 3 guys. Loving our company and love to talk about rugby league. But there's a lot of these youngsters, let's say under 30s, who do a lot of podcasts, which I'm bumping into now, okay? And look, it's a little bit different to what we do, okay? But that's where someone like Anthony will probably get more value out of listening to those shows than our type of show, you know what I mean? So Crawley and Buzz and all these fossils, they're on the wrong page, especially Crawley's last rant about the bell and this and that. They're really off the page. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I know. Yeah, we don't. They have an agenda. We don't. We simply don't have an agenda. We simply get together when we do this, and we just talk the way we do, and we're not being filmed or recorded.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we said. That's what we said originally.
We don't have to worry about being censored. We don't have, like I said earlier, we don't have to worry about offending anyone. Because we just don't care. Yeah. We say what we think. We're the pod that tells it like it is.
That's it. Well, Boy Wonder, you ready? Yes. What do you got for us?
Hit us up.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Nah, if it's too loud, you're too old.
Off we go. We're waiting for Anthony to play a video, guys. And he should come through the audio as well.
Righto, boys. 1, 2, 3.
Hippity hop, she'll stop the traffic when she passes by. You'll stop and wish that you were where she's going. Hoppity hip, she'll skip into your heart. You'll wonder why the world is all a glimmer and a glowing. Cute as a koala and as busy She's up the way she'll wave goodbye to
Skippy,
you.
the bush kangaroo. How funny is it when you look at it now? That song's
Skippy, Skippy, the bush kangaroo. Skippy,
Nah, he'll be on cassette tape.
Skippy, our friend ever true.
Well, boys, here we are.
Here we
50 episodes. Let me tell you, what a journey.
Hi, I'm George.
Arthur.
And I'm Nick, and welcome to the Quick Hands Rugby League podcast. This is the pod that tells it like it is.
In the last 5 months of us doing the podcast, we have 1.4 thousand downloads and over 2K listeners altogether. And that's just audio. On YouTube, we've done 9.5 thousand views. On Instagram, we've done 6.5 thousand views. And now, here's the big one. On TikTok, we've done 67,000 views, which leaves us total with 88,000 views altogether on all platforms. Boys, that's a fucking lot of views. Boys, let's get serious for a second. I'm proud of you guys. You've accomplished so... Hold up, I'm getting a phone call. Give me a second. Oh shit, it's this fucking guy again. Oh fucking hell. What do you want?
Hello, legends. Andy Raymond here, coming to you from Bali. A little mid-season getaway. Few beers, a little bit of the beach, a couple of massages, some legit, some not. Got a message for George, Sam, and Tom. What? Wrong. I thought I was doing a message for the fucking Burgess boys. Sorry for George, Arthur, and Nick, who are celebrating their 50th podcast episode, the Quick Hands boys. I certainly know what the podcasting's like, and it's, mate, it's enjoyable, boys, and no doubt you guys are having a blast doing it and getting your thoughts and opinions out there. A little bit of animated debate is always good. 50 episodes, huge milestone. Keep going with it. Keep enjoying yourselves and keep enjoying the footy. Speaking of which, it's almost kick-off time for Friday night footy. Happy 50th, legends. Keep up the good work.
Sorry about that. Just some fucking guy. As I was saying, boys, you've accomplished so much in life. I'm so proud of you guys, and you wouldn't be here without your fans. In fact, let's hear from them.
Hey Nick, long time no see, like 3 days or something. Here's a shout out video to you, George and Artie on this milestone occasion, your 50th pod. Time sure flies when you're having fun, and you guys seem to be having plenty of it, so that's great for you, and of course us, the listener. It's also great to see Nick going from strength to strength, from his days playing for the Parramatta Eels to now commentating on the sport he loves. For those without YouTube, there's a picture of Nick superimposed on a Parramatta Eels player. The insights, comedic value, passion, and rugby league therapy, a few reasons I listen to the Matty Johns podcast. No, seriously, it's the Quick Hands podcast. That's why I listen to you guys. I know it takes a team to deliver on such a pod, and on your 50th, from me and all the listeners out there, a huge thanks and appreciation to the cast and crew, Nick, George, Artie, Anna, Anthony, Sachin, for making it happen. Thanks for bringing rugby league insights and entertainment to us, and here's to many, many more years to come. As many years as the Parramatta Eels have gone without winning a title. And I can say that as a proud Parramatta Eels supporter. Keep up the great work, guys. Love your work, and see you soon. Ciao for now.
Hey guys, happy 50th anniversary.
And happy 50th episode. We love your work and how you always say it as it is.
Looking forward to the next 50 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Bring it on.
Bye. Happy?
50.
50. Happy 50 your episode, okay? Good luck, αγάπη μου. Να είσαι happy. Alright, I love you.
G'day guys, George and George here, your number one fans. We want to take this opportunity to congratulate you on your 50th episode of, in our opinion, is the best podcast going. May there be 1,000 more. Well done, fellas. Congratulations. And now a word from our favourite Egyptian.
G'day George, Nick and Arthur from the Quick Hands podcast. Troy here from the Paracave podcast. Just wishing you guys, and congratulations actually, on 50 episodes, a magnificent achievement. Thank you very much for allowing me to be a guest on your show and also to be a co-host on one of your shows as well. I hope there is another 50 plus episodes coming our way. Keep up the great work, and once again, congratulations, and hope we can catch up again soon.
Hey George, it's your best friend Ian. Just want to say congratulations on the 50th episode of the Quick Hands podcast. Can you believe it or not, most people stop recording after about episode 13. I think and then you're probably in the top 1 or 2%. So keep going. Here's the next 50. Can't wait till you reach 100.
Max here from the Russell Rhinos, wishing George and the boys in the Quick Hands podcast happy 50th, many more to come.
All right, George. Take care. Have a great episode. See ya.
They said you never make it, but boys, you proved them wrong. Happy 50th show from the only Egyptian Cowboy supporter, from me and the boys right here. Brilliant show, love it, watch it every week. Just great commentary, very smart. Just wishing you boys a great bright future in your podcast from here on in. Take care. You're aging just like a fine red wine. Have a good one, boys.
And with that being said, boys, happy 50th. Hope you have a good episode. See you at 100.
I'm done now.
Oh, man.
I'm done now.
There we go. Our favourite episode. We just found it. There you
Yeah.
go. The 50th.
That's blown away, man. That's, yeah.
Thank you, Anthony.
100%.
Fantastic. Oh, wow.
That's,
what a tribute that was. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow. Didn't see that one
Inspiring,
coming.
eh? Inspiring.
The Egyptian.
That's
now you've
two
seen
Georges.
now you've seen the only Egyptian family
Cowboy
sports
supporter,
Cowboys in the world.
That's
Yeah.
it, man.
There you go, boys.
The
Thanks
two
a lot.
Georges.
Wow.
Well done.
Thanks, Dan. We even got Andy
Great
Raymond
support.
throwing us messages
Andy
now.
Raymond?
Hey?
Where'd that come? That was a shock. Hey, does he listen to our pod? Well done. That's awesome.
Oh god, that was fun.
Yeah, okay. What were we talking about again?
Exactly.
I don't know. Who cares?
Wow, no, that was awesome. Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you.
And thanks to everyone who took out the time to do that.
Yeah.
Frank, I love the pick, man. I really look good in that pick. Yeah, that was a nice surprise.
That was very nice.
That was a very nice surprise.
The boy Wonder did that on his solo. I just made one phone call, and you know what phone call I made. So to Antonio, thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Big fella. We appreciate that. He puts in more time than most of us. He's up late at night cutting stuff up, and he actually cares. He actually cares about it. So once again, Anthony, I'll take our hat to you, and yeah. Everybody who spent time and got in front of a telephone and sent us the messages. You know the short guy with the tall girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one who plays for Greece.
Oh wow!
She plays for Greece.
Oh, that's nice.
She's going to Greece in a couple of months to play qualifiers now.
Yeah.
Rugby league, and
future Greek immortal. Another one.
She might be. She's playing Tashagal, so her next step is Parramatta.
Wow.
She's only 17.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This is funny. For anyone who's listening to this episode for the first time, we're all over the place tonight.
Yeah.
Normally we're very structured, right? But this is just all over the shop.
Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty.
That was amazing.
Be inspiring, be whatever.
Yeah.
That was pretty full on.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Beside one phone call, I didn't know what was coming. I had no
that
idea.
was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's pick up where we left off.
Let's do it.
Let's get back on track.
Let's do
right?
it.
So back to controversy corner. Roosters struggling. Apparently they're looking at releasing Cooper Cronk, and I forgot who the other
Strange
assistant is
decision,
now.
isn't it? King.
Matt King. They seem to have gone off the rails since the whole Jason Riles fiasco. All the guy did was apparently have a conversation about a potential full-time role for next season, and that was enough for them to cut him loose.
Yeah.
And, Nick Politis is shot himself in the foot a couple of times this year by trying to stick his chest out, and it's backfired. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's bizarre why Cooper Cronk and Matt King are going to be let go, and they're going to bring in 2 rookies, basically, 2 old boys, Cordner and what's his name?
I haven't heard of
Nathan Friend.
Nathan Friend, yeah,
Oh,
who
really?
haven't coached before, will be first gigs for them. So interesting to replace Cooper Cronk as a grand final winner.
The thought process behind that is what George has mentioned a couple of times in recent weeks about how you talked about the Roosters haven't recruited the right personality, right? And I think the thought behind that is let's get some Roosters DNA back in the fold.
Okay.
What's it to do?
It doesn't get any better than Boyd Cordner or Nathan Friend, but I don't know if that's going to solve their problems.
But what's recruitment got to do with Cronk and King? They're just assistant coach. They're not bringing players in.
Look, I'd be happy to take Cooper Cronk at Parramatta.
Yeah, St George.
Yeah.
You know what, with the Roosters, and last week they were terrible. All the Origin players, they were all terrible. I think it's a hiccup. I don't worry about it. As I keep on saying, I thought they would have come good this year, but in Robbo we trust. I think next year they'll be a different team. I can't see them having 2 years in a row of poor performances. But in saying that, this year is a little bit concerning.
They've got some good reinforcements coming as well.
Yeah, they do.
They've made some good signings.
They have.
Well,
Okay.
Spencer Lenu's a big one.
Yes, absolutely. That's not the problem. The problem is 7-6, and the forwards collapse pretty easy. But it's not that they haven't got the forwards to do the job. It's the forwards are not doing the job. And if you want a 34-year-old guy to lead the pack and to be the mongrel of the pack, and no one's supporting him, how long more can
talk about Hargraves?
Yeah, how long much more years can he do? He's signed for next year. At the start of the year, they were adamant they were going to let him go. He had signed for Catalans. He was going to Catalans. Okay, and that's because of Robbo's connection with Catalans. Okay, they obviously need him, so he didn't want to go either, really. But he would have went to extend his career. They've signed him again for next year. Maybe not in panic because he's going to give you what he can.
He's still got form.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know what? He's still got form on the other end too, with the high shots and suspensions. You know,
look, he's learned how to ride that line. You know what I mean? So he's if he gets it wrong, But let's see what happens next year. But it's concerning, aren't
You know what it is, mate. I follow the Roosters closely because I'm a sort of, they're my second team, to be honest. And they lost Nathan Friend and Cordner, the 2 assistant coaches, unexpectedly. They both retired much early than they should have.
Yeah.
And I think they're natural born leaders. Those guys were really, really strong in the leadership group.
Especially Cordner.
And losing them to, all of a sudden, they're hard to replace quickly. And I think Brandon Smith was there to sort of replace Friend, but it hasn't really worked out. But there hasn't been really another guy to replace Cordner's absence. So I think they just need a couple more leaders in there to help out steer the ship a little bit more. But they'll get there. I'm sure they'll get there. In Robbo, I trust. He reminds me of my favourite coach at Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, where they'll have 3 magic seasons and then they'll have a little bit of a dip.
Yeah.
And then they go back up again. So this is just their dip year. They'll bounce back.
Is it fair to say, Artie, Nathan Friend, he was on the other side of 30, right?
Was he? I think he was. I think you're right.
Oh, yeah.
How old was Boyd Cordner? Was he late 20s?
Yeah, late 20s.
Late
the
20s.
best was yet to come. The best was yet to come.
I mean, with Boyd Cordner, I don't think anyone saw that coming. But with Nathan Friend, is it fair to say maybe they didn't plan ahead real well?
Well, Brandon Smith was supposed to sort of slot in, but he hasn't worked out.
That just hasn't worked. Yeah, and you know what? George called it last year. He said he's not a hooker.
But Verrills was supposed to be the next guy, but he got injured.
Well, they let him go
because of the injuries.
Well, he's at the Gold Coast, isn't he now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they just got Brandon and Smith as a quick fix. And we haven't got Verrills, we'll get him, and it just hasn't worked out.
He's been a miserable failure so far, Smith.
Unfortunately, he hasn't, Nicola. And you know what? Can he play hooker? Yes. Is he an elite hooker? No.
He's a better lock forward, isn't he?
He's an elite player, yes. But is he an elite hooker? No.
Yeah,
okay.
no.
Can you make him into? I don't know. Maybe you can make him into a lead hooker, but I haven't seen it.
It's 2 different styles, man. You got the Robbo and the Bellamy. Maybe you got to by the time he adjusts to the.
But Bellamy didn't
Robbo
like
style.
him at hooker either, though.
Yeah, I know he didn't, but I think he's still got time. Yeah.
Let's
In
not
Robbo, I
forget.
trust.
Let's not forget Robbo. With this team, it was a few years back now, but they won a wooden spoon as well, and then they bounced back to win premierships after that.
That's what I think.
Let's not write him off just yet.
Oh,
yeah.
no. And their problem with the halves too, with Sam Walker, he got injured.
I think
Luke
and I
Keary.
think Luke Keary, I think he's off contract next season.
Yeah,
is he?
he's got one more year.
So they've got to start thinking about, do they renew him? Because he's getting up there too.
He's a quality player though.
He's a quality player, but I
Fantastic.
think he's one of those players now that, like a Mitchell Pearce or a Cooper Cronk or someone that goes to a struggling club to provide a bit of leadership.
Yeah.
I think he's at that point of his career. I think his best days are probably behind him.
Yeah.
He's won, 2 premierships? One with the Roosters, one with South. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
So he's had a stellar career.
I would love the Roosters to pick up Bud Sullivan. If he's not going to be at St George, I'd love him. I think he'd be perfect at the Roosters.
I never thought of that.
Jaden Sullivan?
Jaden Sullivan, I would love him.
I never thought of that. That's perfect.
He would be perfect.
So he's talking to the Tigers.
Yeah, he's talking to the Tigers.
Apparently, it's a done deal.
What's Robbo doing?
Apparently, and this doesn't make any sense to me at all, he was meeting with the Knights as well. But they're so stocked in the halves that they don't need another half. No. But I think with the Tigers, at least I was saying yesterday, it's pretty much a done deal. Someone,
it's a shame.
David Riccio, I think it was, said he spoke to someone at the Tigers and they assured him it's a done deal.
Well, that's a shame.
I'm devastated. I'm
absolutely. How do you feel? Oh, well,
devastated.
You just told us, but
because,
anyway.
Ben Hunt, to me, he's had one good year, and that was with Widdop controlling the ship. Since Widdop's moved on, he's controlled everything. We haven't made a finals. I'm not a fan of his at a halfback. I just want him at hooker, and that would have been the perfect spine for me for the future going forward for next year. Having him at hooker and having Bud and Amoni in the halves and Sloan or Lomax now at fullback. That's what we're banking on as Saints fans. But now Sullivan's pushed out. We've got a guy there who can't close a game. The Manly game was a good example. We should have won that game, but every time we got the ball in the last, it was just nothing. Nothing happens with him. It's just a bomb, or he'll just run it. I'm just getting sick of it.
So this is all Shane Flanagan, right?
And Shane wants him there. But look, in Flano we trust. He must have plans for something. But losing Bud Sullivan is
I couldn't believe it when I heard it.
It's devastating.
And the first thing when I heard that Bud's moving on or Shane doesn't want him, I thought of you.
Well, Amoni's still got the court case thing happening, and that's not a sure thing. He could still end up in jail. So we could lose Amoni and Sullivan next year.
But is it Flanagan? Because, because what I'm saying is he's obviously going through the club now and preparing for November, right? Pre-season. If he's picking up vibes that someone isn't wholly in it, then he probably will leave, show him the door, because that's not the kind of player we want. Now, I don't know if Sullivan's I don't know how committed he is. I don't know. Was he asked to leave? Was he shown the door? Or did Flanagan think this kid's not committed to it? I don't know.
The only thing I can honestly think of is St George have been burnt before with another good player which we had coming through called Kyle Stanley, who we thought we had high hopes for him, but he got injury after injury after he retired at a young age. So unless they see something similar with Jaden Sullivan, where he might have those problems, where he might be injury prone, that's the only reason I can think of that they would let him go. But apart from that, they had a lot of high hopes for this guy. They re-signed him for extended years ahead of Sloan and Amoni. This guy had 3 more years to go, whereas the other guys are off after next year or this year. So I'm surprised they're letting him go, but I don't know. There must be something there that they see.
I'll tell you what it is. What's his name? Said he wants to play halfback. Hunt says he wants to play halfback. They went to Bud and said, well, no, you're going to play Reggie's.
He's not, 5'8".
Well,
it's been working at 5'8", and then he got injured, and then Amoni came in after that.
But I know he's got a court case, but isn't he? Aren't they grooming him for a 5'8"?
He was, but then he got dropped to Reggie's, and then Sullivan's been playing there, and then he got injured, and then Amoni came back in.
But for him to move on, it's got to be a directive.
There's something there.
It's got to be a directive from Flano.
Yeah.
Well, Flano's call.
Flano on 2GB said that he's given him permission to ask to look around, but what he gets back, Flano's still going to make the last call. So he still might not release him because they still have to release him. They've still got 2 more years.
Got to release him.
But I'm thinking, I don't know. But if we release him and get his son, Kyle, look, no offense to the kid, he's a good kid, but
good hooker.
He's playing good at 9.
He is playing good at 9, but he's not a Sullivan. Sullivan's a potential Jonathan Thurston.
I think,
well, that's what I've heard anyway.
I think the thing is, whenever a new coach comes in, they always have to shake the tree and see what falls. And you know, more often than not, there's always good players that are part of that.
Yeah.
But you know, he obviously has a method behind the madness. He's got a plan. He knows what he's doing, and it sucks when you lose a good young talent. I know.
And he's got form. He's got success. So he's won a grand final. So he knows what it takes. So
he took Cronulla from was it second or third last?
Exactly right.
To the premiership in 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And he fixed up their pathways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly what's underneath. Or he knows what's in the Illawarra.
Don't forget, he spent a lot of time at the Dragons, so he knows the system, he knows the club, he knows the hierarchy.
And if we believe the Tigers coach, Tim Sheens, apparently they're stacked.
Yeah, apparently we've got a couple of really, really
Sheen said that about the Dragons.
Yeah.
So
how would he know?
On that pod, they were talking about Penrith youngsters, and they said, you know, Campbelltown has got heaps as well. He goes, if you think we got heaps, because they butt up. Illawarra and Campbelltown butt up. He goes, should see what the Dragons have got underneath. He goes, I salivate.
The Dragons have never had a problem with bringing youngsters through. You've got the whole Illawarra region down there, the whole
never
south.
had problems.
Yeah.
Never had problems.
Have some faith, Artie. I know it sucks when you lose.
Looking forward to Flano, mate. I saw what he's got to do. I trust the guy.
I do too. I've said it 1,000 times. I'd love to have him at Para. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds, especially over the now that we're getting to the point of the season where we know, another week or two, we'll know that none of our teams are going to make the semis, right? So now's when they can come out and start shaking the tree a bit, because there's nothing really to lose at this point.
Is there a stop now on players going into other clubs? When does that freeze come? When they
it was I think it was June 30.
Yeah,
June 30.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, they can't.
No,
it's done now.
No more jumping. You can sign for.
Because remember how last year Melbourne got Nofaluma the last few weeks and he played for it?
I think you can do it if both clubs agree, but that was a loan.
That was a loan.
That was a loan.
So
that was different.
Loans.
Yeah, that wasn't.
I don't think you can even do that now.
But isn't it funny, just quickly, we talk about, earlier this season, not too long ago, Ben Hunt asked for a release and it ended up getting shut down, and he got crucified in the media for it too, right? But then we see these, when a club wants to let a player go, it's okay.
Yeah, funny that.
It works both ways, doesn't it? Anyway.
Well, the club owns the contract, so they have every right, honestly. Not the player. The player signs 3 years. He's stuck for 3 years. It's up to the club if they want him. So I agree with it.
But then you can bitch and scream and get a release.
Well, I don't know.
I haven't seen either one of you get pissed off yet, so I'll do my best to try and make it happen now. Because I love watching George get revved up as well. So the Melbourne Storm celebrated their 2007 and 2009 premierships.
The purple cheats.
Now here's the funny thing: if I could just go first, and then I'll turn it over to you guys. Who did they beat in 2007? Was it Manly?
Manly.
Okay. In 2009 they beat Parramatta. So I honestly don't have a problem with it. They were stripped of the title. For anyone who doesn't know, they were caught cheating the salary cap. They were stripped of the titles. And when they had their, whatever it was, last weekend, the old boys weekend or whatever, they celebrated those two premierships, which technically they do not have. But the way I look at it is, I think it was more just the players involved.
They won the comp.
They trained every day, they played every game, and they won the grand final. They were stripped off them later, and yes, they had a team that had an unfair advantage and all that. To me, it's just a storm in a teacup, but a lot of other people don't see it that way. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
And enter Ari.
I hate it. That does my head in bad. It shows a lack of disrespect for the NRL. They care about the club only, not the NRL. I would love every club to do it, and in 20 years' time, we see premiership winners 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. But remember, all these clubs are celebrating internally, so that's okay.
It's not cheating unless you get caught.
Nah,
right?
It's rubbish. I reckon every club should just go for it, man. Just cheat and let the NRL have no winners for the next 20 years, because that's what Melbourne are doing. They're saying it's okay to do it, man, because we can still celebrate.
I've always said, and Anthony, you can make a short out of this if you like. It's been my life motto. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
I hate it, man. That did my head in. And I don't know, just to do it in front of Parramatta team that were one of those teams that missed out.
Well, it didn't seem to fire them up, did it?
Yeah, but still, it's like...
Didn't do much.
It's like rubbing it in. That really sucked. And if the NRL want to make a stand, they should just put it in the history books. Winner, nil, and just have the minor premier of St. George and the minor premier of 2007 and have them as the winners. I don't give a shit, but that's terrible.
Just a second, George, before we turn over to you, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. And I love how the media always presents it. Cameron Smith fires back. He didn't fire back. They asked him about it, and he raised what I thought was a valid point. He said, he goes, I completely understand how people perceive it and see it, and that's totally fine. He goes, but the way we kind of look at it internally is that, there's a few of those guys, obviously, Cameron Smith, Slater, Cronk.
Yeah.
But there's also other players in the squad who they only ever had one shot at playing a grand final, and that was their moment. And the lesser known players. Now obviously, it was stripped and all that. They've still got their medal at home. Yeah. And let him enjoy that moment.
Yeah, you're right, Cameron. What about Nathan Hindmarsh? He missed out on a whole premiership. He's never won one in his whole career.
Yeah, I know.
He trained the whole year. Parramatta trained the whole year and were robbed because they cheated. They had the extra advantage of having players they shouldn't have had in their team. So Cameron Smith, Crimea River, man, because Parramatta trained as hard as they did and didn't get the result because of a cheat.
Fair point. By the way, I just want to say as well, and we spoke about this before, a lot of people said, they were stripped. The team that they beat in the grand final should be handed the premiership.
Yep.
As an Eels fan, I don't want any hand-me-downs. There's no way I want to be handed a premiership like that. But if you're going to do that, and they didn't, but if the NRL were going to do that, then it should have gone to St. George because they won the minor premiership. Yeah. That's the best team of the season, in any season. That's the best team of the year. In fact, we're the only country when it comes to sport that doesn't go by first past the post.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's much more exciting having a final series and a grand final.
Yeah.
But George, what are your thoughts?
You know what? I don't know. I'm perplexed. It's such a long time ago, and it's none of my teams involved, so I'm numb. But I just changed my mind. Parramatta and Manly, was it?
Yeah.
Parramatta and Manly did train exactly the same as the Storm. You know what? They think they won the comp, and you know what? Technically, maybe they did win the comp, but they were over the cap, so they didn't win the comp. Now I don't even know how they've got a trophy.
They're replicas.
And they got one in because they think they've won it. Well, there you go. That's the mistake right there. NRL should have said no ring, because they've got a ring. No ring, no trophy.
Well, because it wasn't uncovered until much, much later.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, like in 2010 was when it happened.
You know what? Melbourne do this a little bit, and I'm shocked that John Crease allowed that to happen. They love flaunting things. They love flaunting their advantages, because clearly that they got advantages in rugby league. Like Manly had it back in the 80s with Arthurson and Quayle. Melbourne have got, and with all right, they get advantages because they play out of a city which is a non-rugby league city. So, they gave them advantage and they keep on giving them advantages. But you know what? You did it, don't flaunt it. Because guess what? All you do is open a can of worms. They could have had the old boys there without the trophies.
You know what's funny? I'm going to go off topic for a sec because you just reminded me of something.
What's that?
You're saying that they've got unfair advantages. I assume you're saying they've got more leniency from the NRL, whatever they get, marketing, whatever. Yeah. Brings me back to the Gold Coast Titans who went bankrupt a few years ago, 6-7 years ago, whatever it was. And this always sticks out to me. So, and maybe they're in a different position now, but at that time, you have a club like the West Tigers who were really struggling financially, right? But they were doing everything by the book. They were doing their best, and they were struggling. And their performances showed. It reflected in their roster, in their performances. Gold Coast went bankrupt, and the NRL bought them out. And all of a sudden, they had a $9 million salary cap at their disposal. So the team is doing everything right. The club is doing everything right and struggling, gets nothing. And the team that goes bust gets bailed out and is given $9 million. And that's when they signed Cherry Evans, who ended up backflipping anyway. But how does that work?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
They find the coast as a necessary evil. You know, logistically, they got to have it there. Well, thank God they got bought out by an owner. And can I say, the owner is on face to face on NRL NRL station. Watch it.
The current owner.
The current owner.
Yeah.
And it's her, not him. I don't know their name. Sorry.
Oh, actually, I saw it advertised last night, but I haven't watched it yet.
Watch her, because then you'll see, let's say, a gutsy.
I think, and they're going real well. Like that, you know, I'm not knocking the fact that they'll bailed out. I'm knocking the fact that the West Tigers might have been better off if they just went bust.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they would have been back in black, thanks to the governing body.
Where after the grand final, we're going to present a show tracking, let's say, the plight of the western suburbs, and to see how they've been stuffed around from day one, how their territory is being carved up, given to St George, given to a lot of other.
Well, let's not forget both.
So you'll have fun when we
both
do that.
Both of those clubs were incentivized to merge as well. They were paid like $4 million and $5 million or something.
West Tigers,
yeah.
Look, I don't know about that in terms of the Gold Coast part of it, but with the Storm, we'll get back to the point with the Storm. They shouldn't have done it. They did it. Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, but I can certainly understand.
Right.
Yeah, I can certainly understand people who did.
They must have known they were going to aggravate people. They must have known. Sure.
Let's turn it over.
That's my point. They're disrespectful. They don't care.
They've always.
It's all about them, and they don't care about the rest.
Well, I call them purple trees for a reason.
Yeah, that's
like everything I said half an hour ago.
It's pathetic.
It's like I don't care what people think. Yeah, they extended the middle finger to everyone. Anyway,
Kafusi Nelson.
Yeah. I don't have an issue with it. Let's talk about your cousin.
My cousin, which one?
Pathways Gould.
Pathways Gould.
Phil Gould's done it again. This time he's taken aim at Latrell Mitchell.
Why Latrell?
Saying they can't win a comp with him. He's not a big game player. I think he forgets that the kid's got 2 premierships under his belt already.
Got 2 premierships.
A World Cup, a State of Origin. I think he's kind of been there, done that.
Yeah,
what do you guys think about it?
I think one grand final against Canberra, where it looked like Canberra were going to get over the top of them the last 10 minutes. They were camped on their try line. You remember that kick that went awry?
Yeah.
Someone dropped it, this and that. Roosters were battling, and some hooker decides to hit Latrell on the blind side, makes a break, and passes it. I don't know who he passed it. I can't remember now, but scored a try. Big game player. I think so, Phil. I think you maybe that day you're having a root canal with Artie
what do you think his purpose is? The week before he took aim at the Broncos.
Artie's got a scenario for this one.
Mate, he just wants to fire up the Broncos and South because he knows that them 2 teams are the only ones that can beat Penrith. I don't think he wants Penrith to win a third. Seriously.
But he built the team. He built the team.
Oh, yeah, of course. He built everyone. He built the NRL. He built the Storm.
Pathways
he built the Storm.
Man.
Apparently, he flew over when he won, and he built the Storm. He takes credit for everything. He also brought Hook there, remember? He brought Hook there. Sacked Cleary.
Exactly.
Hooked and brought in Hook. Yeah. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. But he's ludicrous. Why does he keep bagging other teams? Just stick to your own team.
It's funny because I
can't
remember who it was, but one of the South officials, one of the CEO or chairman or something, not Rusty, but one of them came out with a statement saying, what we just said. Yeah. The Latrell's done this, and that. And he goes, I think we're all starting to get a little bit sick of Phil Gould. Yeah. Taking shots at everyone. He should be focusing on his own backyard.
Phil Gould's a champion. I've got to tell you, he's got such good vision. There was 3 assistant coaches at Penrith. He got and then he got Seraldo, right?
Yeah.
Webster goes to the Warriors, and look at the Warriors. Phil, go to New Zealand and let the CEO from New Zealand teach you how to build a team. Because you're clueless, buddy. You are absolutely clueless. Honestly.
He had 2. 50-50.
Exactly. No, 66%. He got 2 out of 3.
And he
failed with both.
Is there a possibility that he's doing a Wayne Bennett / Ricky Stewart stunt to take the focus off of Canterbury by putting it on himself.
Oh, yeah. They've been a disaster.
Well, not necessarily Canterbury, but Cameron Ciraldo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. But I
kind of draws more attention, but doesn't it? Just shut up. Don't say anything.
You know what? He's a good salesman. I already called a couple of weeks ago. He's a good salesman.
Yeah.
He's trying to keep pressure away. But I called it. We're going to see in 3 years. You know what the problem is? When they go really bad in the third year and they're still in the bottom of the table with a brand new team, okay, he can sack Ciraldo, but who's going to sack him?
Mate,
Yeah.
if they sack Ciraldo, that's 2 coaches in a row that he's appointed that have been sacked after 2 years. How you going, Phil?
You know what?
Yeah,
he'll hold on to dear life because
Of course.
he appointed him. But you know what? Results will show. And if 12th is the best you can do in 3 or 4 years of a complete new team, okay, we'll see how good. Because everybody's expecting them top 4.
Oh, yeah.
In 3 years.
It's a 5-year build.
You know what my concern is?
And you do it from the bottom up.
And it goes back to Trent Barrett as well.
Poor Trent.
Who's the equivalent at the Dragons, Artie? Who's your football operations, whatever?
Do
you know?
Ben Herron, and he's...
Do you ever see him in a singlet and shorts standing next to the coach
Never.
at training?
No.
Like every week you see footage of Phil Gould at training in his training gear standing next to Ciraldo. And like, fair enough. I mean, he's got a wealth of knowledge to offer. But at some point, is the coach kind of hamstrung?
Yes.
Because he's got this guy beside him and he has to please him, you know?
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason he picked Ciraldo and no one else.
Because he can control him.
He can control him.
Yeah.
Obvious.
I really feel sorry in all this whole Canterbury thing. I really feel sorry for Dean Pay because he had Lesbian Act, he had Montoya, he had Amini, he had the back line set ready. All they had to do was plug a few holes.
I think
they've gone and sold all these guys and replaced them with who?
I think Pay had the worst. That's the wrong word.
But
The
he was getting
weakest lineup.
He was getting somewhere.
I think he's outperformed everyone
Exactly.
since him.
He has.
Hasn't he? I mean, Mick Potter did a great job.
He did.
You can tell what Mick Potter did. He didn't turn them into better players. He just turned their attitudes around.
Yeah.
They became better players.
Yeah.
You know?
I've always said it.
Bulldogs fans wanted someone with their DNA in the job. Dean Pay had the DNA and was getting there. Yeah. First thing he said was, I'm sick of looking over the fence for players, which is what Gould's doing now.
Yeah.
I want to look within and I want to build our juniors. And he was doing that. He was doing it. And now they've brought Gould in and what has he done? Just brought in players from over the fence.
Yeah, I get that too. I get that because he does want to start from the bottom and build up and all that. But these youngsters, it'll take 5 years to happen. So he's got to pull together a squad now, you know, a layer of experience for these youngsters to grow into.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to be players getting into grade too early, falling over. You know what I mean?
Well, the way I see it, if a junior goes into the Canterbury system, he has 2-3 bad games and they just punt him. Well, they did that to Flano. They did it with Alamotti. They did it with... I can name them all. They don't get a chance.
That's why I think what I think he's doing, he's signing a bunch of players, you know, apart from the big names, like, you know, the what's his name? The Takiaho.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these guys won't be there in 2-3 years.
Yeah.
It's almost like a stopgap because you need to kind of put a layer there to help nurture the youngsters to grow into. Yeah. I think. You know?
So how do you work out? Let's get rid of Amarillo. What's his name?
Avarillo.
Yeah.
Avarillo, exactly.
Avarillo. But wait a minute. We'll go by Taff. Same.
Yeah, I know, but
same.
But how much of
Taff's
it is
1 year younger?
But how much of, and I don't know, by the way, you might. But how much of it is getting rid of Avarillo? You know, he might have wanted to go to the Dolphins. I mean, no offense, but you know, rather than Belmore, I'd prefer to live in Brisbane. You know, and get a starting spot each week, and maybe it's in a different position, chance to play under Wayne Bennett. It might not just all be Canterbury released him. Maybe he had a desire to leave. I don't know, by the way.
Yeah, no, nor do I. All I know is that. He talks about homegrown talent. There you go. There it is, right there.
Did they hang on to the other one? What's his name? The other.
He's talking to the Cowboys, but
who's that? Alamotti.
Alamotti, because there's a good chance he might stay, right?
Yeah, there's a good chance. To stay,
and you're right. If they both leave, that's two homegrown. Are they? Is Alamotti from there? Yeah.
Well, Milpera Cold Boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, I don't understand what he's doing. I don't get it. Time will tell. but I called it early in the year, third year. Shit, next year will be the same, and then the other year when shit's still hitting the fan, okay, we'll see who's going to pull triggers onto what. I'll be hunting him like I hunted unfortunately Hookie.
They put in a much better performance on the weekend.
They did. Admittedly, they did.
You guys called out before Gus's vision. So let me ask you guys, Ivan Cleary, Kevin Walters, Andrew Webster, who's the coach of the year?
I don't understand why Cleary. I know Webster's had a fantastic year. So as Walters, but people got to remember that 2 years ago, Cleary missed out on the award. It went to Bellamy. I don't know why. He didn't even win the comp then. And then last year went to Payton. Now, this will be Cleary's third year potentially winning a comp, and in 3 years he hasn't won Coach of the Year. Doesn't make sense. He should have got it 2 years ago, but the NRL got to give this guy an award because this guy is going to be an elite coach, I reckon, when he finishes.
Well, he is. He's coaching the best team in the competition, and they look unstoppable.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, did he get the Coach of the Year at the Warriors when he got them to the grand final?
I don't know.
I think he might have.
That was 10, 11 years ago.
Exactly. He might have. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I'm surprised he hasn't got it in the last 3 years, even 4 years, because even before they lost the grand final, so he got him into a grand final.
He's been in 3 in a row.
Exactly. So if that's not good enough, then Bellamy and Bennett have never got 3 in a row. So he might do what they haven't done.
And let's not forget what Ivan Cleary's... Oh, well, let me ask you guys, what's his greatest achievement so far as a coach?
Who's that?
Ivan Cleary.
Greatest
George knows what I'm going to say.
Ivan Cleary?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
What's his greatest achievement so far as a coach?
Well, he's won the comp.
He's done something even
that's
more.
Not it.
He's done the unthinkable.
He's done the impossible.
The impossible.
Arthur. Yeah, Luke Brooks won the Dally M halfback of the year.
There you go. That's
at the
even
Tigers.
better. Exactly.
That supersedes the premiership.
Exactly.
Man. Let me say it again for those of you who didn't hear. Luke Brooks won Dally M halfback of the year.
This is the coach that was sacked by Gould. I've got to go back there. But anyway.
Go do it.
But
that's true.
That's my point. What's yours? Who do you think should get it? And they had it tough this year because they had...
Yeah. No, I agree. Ivan is the best coach in the comp at this moment. Okay. But Webster, who should get the coach of the year?
Yeah, it's you could honestly...
And then the reason I say that, I'll tell you why I say that, is because he's not only changed the way they play, he's changed the way they think, he's changed culture, he's changed, a whole swag of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ivan's the best coach. There's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind.
I mean, I'm leaning on Webster, but you can make a case for all three. I mean, Ivan needs to get Coach of the Year for longevity.
Yeah.
Webster needs to get Rookie Coach of the Year, and Kevin Walters needs to get the U-turn Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
In saying that, the Broncos are loaded.
Yeah, if Webster gets the Warriors to the finals again next year, then he's got to be out. He's got to be the top candidate because he's done it 2 years in a row. And that's when you've got to give him 1 year. It could be a 1 year wonder.
One thing that I am happy about is I really like all three of them, and I like seeing them do well.
Absolutely,
especially Walters. I thought he was unfairly under a lot of pressure.
I like Kevin.
Sure.
And that's the other thing. Like he's been operating probably under the most pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
As well.
It's a big club.
Yeah. Well, a lot of expectation.
It's the Real Madrid of the rugby league.
And now they've got their crosstown rivals there as well.
Yeah.
With Big Bennett, at the helm.
Yeah.
So just one more point, boys.
I just want to add one more point there. Now, the season isn't over yet, right? So we've got 5 more rounds. If South Sydney finish in the top 4, I don't see why Demetrio is not even in the conversation either because he's taking over a Bennett side. And you know what happens when coaches come after Bennett.
How many years has he been in the job now?
1. This is his first, isn't it?
Second.
Is it second?
Second.
Is it? Well, I don't know. I think maybe Demetrio as the 4th best coach. There you go.
He's in the conversation.
He should be in the conversation. Yeah.
I don't.
But wait till the end of the year. If they don't make then
he's not a fan. He's not a fan.
No, it's not that. Based on today, you can't seriously say South. Based on where they are today, that wasn't a very convincing win over the last place Tigers, right?
No.
I can't justify giving him Coach of the Year right now. 10 days ago they had a shocker.
Yeah,
they were talking about, and they're not sitting in the top 4. or the top 6. What are they sitting?
Not yet. You never
Just
know.
outside
They've
the
still
eight,
got
I think.
time. They've still got time.
They were in first place 2 months ago.
Or more, yeah. Look, in terms of coach of the year, that's the conversation. Cleary
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't put Demetrio in there. Not with those guys.
Yep, fair enough.
My opinion. Yeah. That's just my opinion. Cam McInnes, he made 378 tackles in last week's game. 84 tackles.
That's unbelievable.
It's a record.
Yeah. Tackling machine. He was. I remember at St George used to always top the tackling count. The guy's a machine.
Would you give him a rest?
I don't know.
Would you pull him off for 10 minutes and give him a breather?
I think Fitzy was saying that he was looking at him, but it didn't look like he needed a rest. Like he just kept putting him on, leaving him on. But
Phil Gould said something that was interesting. He goes, it wasn't just 84 tackles. It was a lot of those tackles was him sprinting out of marker to put pressure on. You know, we're not talking about 50 flops. You know, that's high work rate, high energy stuff.
Yeah, and you know, the Cronulla forwards should look back at that and say, you know, if this guy doing 84 tackles, what were they doing?
Yeah. And
exactly.
That's the point I'm going to make. Now, him making 84 tackles is an amazing feat. And like you said, they're either him shooting to get somebody or in sort of a half break situations. So it's him doing the tackle, no one helping. Okay, so it's amazing. Okay, but that screams something about Cronulla. If someone has to make 84 tackles, that says
that's a problem.
That says more about Cronulla. Yeah, more about Cronulla than what it says about.
Artie, they're still in the top 8 team this season.
Well,
I know. Did you do any missed tackles, Cam McInnes?
That's a good
question. Yeah,
I'd love to know if you did.
You know what?
Even if you did 3 or 4, 5, who cares?
While you guys are talking, I'm going to have a look.
Okay. What's the next topic while you look?
The games. All right, let's run through them. Let's run through. So, round 22. I'll run through the scores. Guys, jump in wherever. So,
sure.
The first, it opened with the Broncos 32 points to 10 over the Roosters. Thoughts?
Carrigan broke his duck.
How great was the celebration?
Yeah, they
you
celebrated.
See the team run over to him? Like, that's camaraderie right there.
That was great, yeah. So that's what I wanted to say. And, you know, first half, 20 points. That's what set up the win for the Broncos all played.
George, any thoughts on that?
No.
The second game for Friday night, Rabbitohs 32, Tigers 18. Latrell's back. They did what they had to do, but I didn't think it was really convincing.
Yeah, it wasn't. But Alex Johnson bagged his another hat-trick. 12th of his career.
He's a try-scoring machine.
He's a machine, I know, yeah. So that was a good highlight for me. That was pretty good to see. But where's Tigers hung in there? Come on, you've got to give them credit. They're only 2 points out of it with 10 or 15 to go. So, you know, credit to the Tigers for putting in a good effort. If it wasn't for a Cameron Murray 75th minute try, 75th minute that is, 5 minutes to go, that's what sealed the game. So they were in it till then. So good on.
Yeah, don't worry about the next game. We'll move on to Saturday. No, I'm joking. Storm 46, Eels 16. That was a hammering.
Wow.
You know what? Can I just say something? The boy Wonder has heard about all these salaries being paid, you know, 1 million, 1.4. He asked me, Dad, when they give somebody 1.4, what's the difference between them and someone who gets $500,000? Guess what? We saw the difference from a $1.4 million player, all three of them.
Yeah.
Okay. A certain halfback, a certain hooker, and a certain 5'8". That's the difference right there. Honestly, you take those three out, Nicola, and you'll be coming away with the points. But can I just say that the Eels, disappointing, very disappointing.
Yeah.
You know what? Early it looked okay, but I don't know. And I honestly don't believe Storm are that good. You know what I mean? They're still clunky now because
I said it a month ago. Parramatta won't make the 8.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Because, like I said, what's the hooker's name? The halfback's name again, Artie?
For who?
The Storm.
Jerome Hughes.
Because Jerome Hughes decided to have one of those games, and
but the defence was so soft.
Yes,
It was
That's what I
very.
was gonna say. Did you see Monster's last try?
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah.
Say no more.
Yeah.
Say no more. Say no more.
One thing I want to say in that one, mate.
Yep.
Brad Arthur celebrated his 250th game in charge of the Eagles.
Can I ask a question? Can Brett Arthur win a comp? Yes
How
or
many
no?
times have I answered that?
Yes or no?
Well, I don't think they can. No, I don't know.
That's all I need to know. Because someone asked me about next game we're going to talk about the Knights. Okay, and we heard about the issues with O'Brien.
Yep.
And then the question was, can O'Brien win a comp? And I had to say no.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I had to say no.
But you know what?
That doesn't mean that he won't.
No one can win it until they win it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
there's a first time for everything. But the difference between O'Brien and Brad Arthur is Arthur's been there 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay? And he got to the grand final, but he's also, in 10 years, made it past week 2 of the semis once.
Ooh.
Really?
Last year.
Oh, really? Was that the first time he's gone
Yeah.
past week? What about the Cowboys when you've got...
That was last year.
No, but was there another year when you've got up to the last game before the
Past
final?
week 2. They've won the first week of the finals. They've
Always.
lost week 2.
Always won the first week, yeah.
Wow. Jeez.
Now, George, you can ask me again.
No, I agree with you. And I think Flano was an opportunity missed.
Yep. Anyways, Knights on fire.
Yes.
Canberra, real disappointing. Knights 28 points to 6 over Canberra in Canberra.
Go, Artie.
Always brings a smile to my face when I watch the halves of Tyson Gamble. And Jackson Hastings, the control freak. Those guys, I don't know. I'd love to see them just in training. I reckon they'd be sledging
each other.
They'd be sledging the ball boys. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Ponga, again, he's coming back, man. How good is he?
What a move it was for him to pull out of Origin, because Billy Slater did call him for Game 3.
Yeah.
And he said, Billy Slater himself said it. He said, I did call him, but Kalen elected to stick with his decision, and it's paying dividends.
You know what? If I was a Queenslander, I would be really hoping that next year Kalen plays 5'8", and then if he goes well, then you've got the potential of having Reece Walsh at fullback, Kalen Ponga at 5'8". That is dynamic. Having those two in the side, they would just carve New South Wales up.
Raiders were real flat, weren't they?
Raiders were flat.
Yeah.
Let me address something, because he wasn't in the room. The ability for this man on my left to pick a youngster, he told me, and he told me, we heard it, that Bradman Best. He told me Bradman Best was going to be an Origin player maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Nicola, I didn't know him, and I didn't care about him. I just saw a normal, short, fat guy who's maybe yes or maybe not a first grader. Okay. And I've been absolutely ripping Ponga apart. I've got egg all over my face. Okay, what he's done the last month is nothing short of amazing. What Reece has done, and you know how I feel about Reece Walsh. He's done the same thing. He's turned his back line into fire. It's electric every time they spin the ball out, and he's the reason, because the good thing about Ponga is he can play as a decoy and as a shoulder runner. Guess what? Who benefits from it? Best. Yeah. And guess who's giving the passes? No, the sledger.
Oh,
Tyson Gamble.
Tyson Gamble.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? I noticed, and I haven't picked this up. You know, Tyson. There's some players that makes everybody around them better. They're sometimes necessarily not the best player in the team, and sometimes they are, like JT. Okay, but he's not.
Yeah.
Okay, but for some reason, when he runs on with the team, he makes everybody around him better. So I'm convinced.
It's chemistry. So let me ask you, where does Jack Cogger fit into the equation?
I don't know.
Next season.
I don't know, because the control freak. I'll tell you what I like about the control freak. He's changed his game to support. Okay, Ponga, Best, and Tyson.
Is
Gamble.
that good coaching?
I'm not sure if it's good coaching, but other players can't do that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, Sexton can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Hastings has got the ability to say, okay, I don't need to run. Okay,
Hastings
I've got to
always-
get the ball to this bloke here.
He's always had so much talent.
Yes, he has. He has. And Frizzell, for a 30-year-old man, okay, where does he get the energy from?
He's got heart. He plays with his heart, mate. That guy, he's great.
Yeah. And I'll call him back what he is, the St George back rower. Knights will make the 8.
Yeah, I think so. They've got a decent run in.
They can cause some upsets too in the 8.
They're
not just going to be there just for the...
They sure can.
They've got a good run in.
Okay, and how much... I don't like I don't care about O'Brien. How much I don't think he's a good coach. He will not get sacked. Okay, and the poor guy Sean Wayne will still be in Wigan next year in the cold. So I'm sorry. Canberra. I'm convinced now. Ricky. He's not a good coach. No, he's not. He's not. He's won a comp with a loaded team, with a stacked team. Okay, the ability. Well, wait a minute. The ability to give them consistency, the ability to have them prepared, they weren't prepared.
Put some context into it, right? He's been coaching 21 years. Mm-hmm. He won a comp in his first year as coach.
Yes, he did.
He hasn't won one since.
Yeah.
So and it was a team that Graham Murray put together as well. So props, but he lost. I think he lost 2 grand finals after that. With the Roosters.
So. Yes, he did.
I don't know that we can. He's won a comp, but I don't know how much weight that carries when after 21 years it was in your first season and you haven't been able to replicate it.
Well, you know what? They weren't prepared. They were playing at home, okay, in a big stake game, okay. They won last week, okay, and because they got negative 50 whatever, okay, for and against, okay, so they're not safe, and I don't think they'll make the 8.
It's not too different to when I went down there a few weeks back for Toots's 300.
Exactly. They got lapped.
Yeah, a big crowd at home, big occasion. They weren't up for it. Mind you, the Warriors were great, but the Raiders weren't up for it.
Yeah.
Well, can I just say, like Timiko, the last month looked like he had spider webs. You couldn't tackle him. He wasn't sighted. Jared needs a week off, man.
Yeah.
I don't care about next year what he's going to do, but he just looks tired. Okay. Yeah. Rapana is always full of beans. Okay. Fogarty, he's so good one week and he's so poor the other week, and his kicking game. I'm gonna call something. I actually think Papali'i played half decent. Hudson Young, okay, and the only reason I'm going to say he's still good because this guy told me he's good.
He's good. He's an Origin player.
Okay.
If he played Origin this year.
Yes. If he didn't tell me he's good, I would say he's probably the best Reggie player in the country.
He's good.
But I'm going to stay with him. But one thing that this guy, he's not going to, and I'm pointing to Arthur, everybody, he's not going to convince me. Big Red is a cat. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Big Red is a cat.
I think we all know
that. I don't care what Billy made a mistake to put him in the Origin arena. Okay, he's a cat, and when he comes, he's a cheap-shotted cat. It's simple as that.
2 years ago, he had an incident playing against Parramatta with Ryan Madison, where they had a push and shove.
That's right.
And he broke down crying as he walked off the field.
Yeah.
He had 2 years to square it up when he ran in earlier this season to king hit Madison, and he took an air swing. He missed completely. So my advice to Big Red is don't throw him because
he's a cat.
Yeah, handbags at 10 paces.
You know what? At the start of the year, there was something there, but as the year goes on now, okay, besides his form's dipped, I can't believe it's the same player. Okay. All the cheap shots came out.
Yeah.
Now, if you're Nelson Kafusi and you're doing cheap shots, you're still a good player. You're still playing really well, and you got to put cheap shots in the game.
The cheap shots usually start when your form declines. Yeah. It's like watching Mike Tyson in the 90s, you know. But anyway, let's move on.
I wouldn't write the Canberra Raiders off.
No, you can't.
Because I thought they had a good run of form where they won a consecutive amount of games in a row. And they were all close games. They were all close. So that would have taken a lot of toll out of them. They'll bounce back.
And we spoke about it, right? That last year they were losing those games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I saw something in those games that thought, you know what, these guys might do something. They just got to get there.
Artie, the Dragons went down to the Seagulls 24 points to 18.
Talk to me because I thought this was boring as bad.
We talked about that bunker decision, but tell us about the game.
I thought Saints started really well. I thought they were the better team, to be honest. Manny scored a couple of long-range tries around the left. Our left side is terrible. Sully and Fee and I just get caught out all the time. But DCE, won his 300th game. I'll
Yes.
give you a stat about this guy, right? Cherry Evans won his 50th, 100th, 150th, 200th, 250th, and 300th game. So when that guy has a milestone, he aims up.
Yeah,
He's playing his best season, I reckon.
He couldn't talk after this one.
He was phenomenal, and
Yeah.
I would be surprised if he gets Daily M Player of the Year. He would be racking up the points.
He might get-
even in the losing games, he's still one of the best on the
He
field.
might get Dally M. Cherry Evans Player of the Year.
He's phenomenal. And then you compare him to our 7, who thinks he's number 7 and the best in the world. DC even shits all over Hunt. He knows how to close a game. He knows how to kick. He does everything. He puts his players in holes. He doesn't just run the ball under his arm and just try. He's just a complete halfback. I really rate Evans, and Manly signing him for $1 million for 10 years. The best bit of business I've ever seen.
It's cheap.
It was cheap. Like everyone was blowing up back then.
It was unders.
It's way unders now. He's phenomenal, and well done DCE, because he cops it too sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Not
I just wanted to wrap DCE, man.
He's always
He was
been
great.
a real good stand-up guy for the game as well.
Yeah.
He speaks very well. I haven't seen him put a foot wrong off the field.
I hope when he finishes here, he gets into...
he will, in the media?
Yeah, or upstairs in the offices, CEO something of a club. I hope he goes into the league.
CEO's a bit of a stretch, but...
Oh, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know,
somewhere in those thing. I just want to say about St. George...
Zach Lomax.
Yeah, outstanding.
He's
Zach is
phenomenal.
That
getting
could
better
be
and better
fullback
and better.
next year.
Yeah.
I think so.
You could unravel something really special there.
McGregor tried him there already. He gave him a couple of
Yeah,
games.
but this will be different.
This will be different.
This will be different.
Yeah. I don't think he was ready for it back then, but I think he's ready for it now.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
You know what? I didn't think this game got to any great heights. I don't think Manly will make the 8. St. George tried.
Yeah,
They hang in there, don't they?
Yeah, they do hang
they
in
do.
there.
They play actually well, and they make a couple of mistakes, and they drop their heads.
You know what? I call St. George and the Tigers the best worst team in the comp, because they show you 15 minutes of outstanding rugby league, then they give you 15 minutes of complete rubbish. Okay,
Yeah.
and in that 15 minutes, the good teams go bye bye, bang bang bang. Let's think about next week. You know what I mean? Like Souths did.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you just said because I was looking at those donuts.
Yeah, they're looking good, eh?
Yeah.
But look, Saints they cop some bad decisions. They are on the raw end of. How many times
the bellend.
with the hip drop thing, right? How many times have you seen a guy go and report for a hip drop and stay on? Most of the times they stay on.
Artie,
I don't know the difference between a Simbin hip drop and a non-Simbin.
Another one of my sayings,
Nor
it's
do
better
they.
to be lucky than good.
Yeah.
Right?
It's terrible.
Let's move on. Panthers 28, Sharks 0. Sharks are in free fall. It is Penrith, fair enough, but 28 zip.
Penrith looked like a training run. They didn't even.
Is it fair to say, this is going to sound ridiculous even as I think about it, is it fair to say the Sharks defended quite well? It could have been 56-0.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Mate, I thought Penrith were outstanding. 92% completion rate.
Just
They
Penrith.
did it.
Penrith were just Penrith.
And
No.
they just made it look easy. And that's against a team that's a top 8 team.
You know what? Let me tell you the difference between last year Penrith and this year Penrith. Last year, yeah, they defended outstandingly, okay? But what they could do is blow you away in 15 minutes. Kick out on the...
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah. Okay? This year, what they do is we've got to call them the boa constrictor. They just squeeze the life out of you. They make you can't breathe.
Well,
Okay?
in that case, let's call them Damien.
Damien?
Yeah. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Jake the Snake.
His boa constrictor was Damien.
Oh,
Okay, so Damien. Okay, so they get you in a position, Nicola, and you can't breathe, and you don't know how you can score points. You know, you get over the line, someone's underneath you, someone's knocking you out of the thing. Then they get the ball, they work their way down to their position, they score on you. You know, what the. So, and that's why I think, and we'll talk about the week that's ahead, but I don't think Melbourne's got a chance.
Before we do, tell us what happened on Sunday, George. Bulldogs 23, Dolphins 22.
Okay, number
Matt
one.
Burton's field goal to make it 11 points to 8 in the first half was mind-boggling, but it ended up being a difference.
Look, a low standard game in general. I think the Dogs played better overall. So
no, they were the better side.
They were the better
sure.
side. Okay.
Yeah.
I found it hard to watch. The score kept me there. And basically, look, Kikau and the players who came in did make a massive difference. Because if we had last week's team on, we'd lose by 30. Okay, so yes, we came.
7 players is a lot.
Yeah,
right?
No, we came up, and don't forget the Dolphins don't beat themselves. You got to beat the Dolphins. Okay, they didn't lie down. They were trying to win from even the last minute. Okay.
Well, they could have if he got the kick.
Kicked it in, yeah.
Yeah, they could have. So and then maybe I wouldn't have said anything if they didn't. Look, they won the game. I'm not too chuffed. I've got there's
a win's a win. You take
win's a win.
Yeah.
I don't care. I have no emotions about this current team.
You know it's an incredible stat in that game.
What's that?
Canterbury missed 49 tackles and the Dolphins only missed 28.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So and it was incredible, man.
Kicks.
Dolphins just didn't play. They were just terrible.
Take Kikau out. Kikau would get us out of trouble with ball in hand so many times. What he done at Penrith? Okay, I'm telling
he's
you
a
now,
damn good player.
Yeah,
great,
and that's what I mean. They're still terrible. I don't care what you said. And Artie telling me that they missed so many tackles just tells me that nothing's changed. But
maybe
there's 4 more games of pain to go, and then it's over.
Maybe Gus should be trying to get McGuinness. Right? He should be their first priority.
No,
I didn't like it.
I?
Yeah, I didn't like
I
it.
listened to Gus's pod today.
What did he say?
He said I'd take McGuinness in a heartbeat.
Yeah, of course. Everybody would.
He goes, I'd take him in a heartbeat. Who wouldn't? The Cowboys, their winning run came to a halt. 22 points to 13, beaten by the Gold Coast.
Yeah. I was getting messages from the only Egyptian Cowboy supporter.
We saw him.
And he said there was corruption happening there. I'm thinking, wait on a second, he's just won 6 in a row. I don't know. He wasn't happy with some of the decisions there, but Titans deserved it in the end. Cowboys just didn't turn up. I think 6 wins in a row just got to them. I think they just needed that 1 week.
The Titans have been better since they sacked Holbrook, haven't they? I feel bad saying it, but they actually had a couple of last-ditch losses.
Yeah.
They've been more competitive overall.
And the Cowboys missing 48 tackles. That's not like Cowboys. That's very rare. So they were off their game big time.
I mean, they've had such a run.
Exactly, yeah. And
they came from nowhere.
Exactly. It happens.
To your point, in terms of the Titans having a better run, not last week, but 2 weeks before, okay, which they lost by Golden Point both times.
2 weeks in a row, yeah.
Okay, which Graham Mansley says that everything was hunky-dory.
It
fine.
wasn't.
Yeah. You give them 4 points plus the 2 points they got now. Guess what they're in? They're in the 8.
When they lost to Parramatta in Golden Point, they actually should have won that game because when they went to kick a field goal to even the score, when they were 1 point behind in the last couple of minutes, half of the Parramatta team was offside.
Of course they were.
It would have been a penalty in front of the posts.
Of course they were.
They didn't give it. Mind you, that's how they lost the week before when they were penalised for doing the same thing.
Yes.
So they've had the shit end of the stick.
Yeah. That's all I want to say. Cowboys extremely disappointing. They looked off. They were off. I would say they weren't prepared properly, but I know their coach, and I can't believe they weren't prepared. They were just 7 in a row is too much. This might be the best thing for them.
Yeah, I think so.
They might go back to North Queensland. I'm not sure where they're playing this week. They might go back to North Queensland, put their heads back on, and go for another 7 game run.
Yeah.
The only problem, of course, is that their centre and their best player is gone for 4 weeks.
Yeah, Val Holmes.
And that's a big loss.
So I thought it was strange that he challenged it. He should have just taken the 3.
Should have taken the 3.
Yeah.
I just hope that doesn't derail this season.
Yeah.
I really hope.
Apparently he forgot his Melbourne jersey at home. That's why he got 4th week. If he brought it, he would have got off.
You know what? Nelson Kafusi had other cases on the day.
They were busy on that day.
They couldn't take the case.
They were busy polishing the trophies that they won.
Let's do some
caravans.
Let's do some rapid fire questions, boys. Best game of the round.
Titans Cowboys was interesting, I thought. I love watching the Titans. They play good, they're entertaining. Them and Newcastle. I love watching those two teams at the moment. So I was tossing up between those two, but I went with the Titans.
I love watching anything Penrith.
Okay, yeah. I had that as my pleasure.
For me, it certainly wasn't the best game of the round, but for me, that category also comes down to edge of the seat stuff. So I'll go Bulldogs Dolphins.
Okay.
Because you just didn't know who was going to win.
That was my bludger.
No, well, I mean,
We're
for
picking
me,
each other's bludgers.
It just like for me, any game that keeps you engaged up until the final bell. It doesn't have to be the quality.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
No, it kept me engaged as well.
Bludger of the round. You just gave us your one, George.
The Dogs, yeah.
I had Panthers as Sharks.
Low standard. It wasn't low standard, but
it wasn't low standard, but it felt like Sharks were never going to win.
was
Like
a
I'm
hard
just
watch.
watching a game and I'm just watching Penrith. Like,
Yeah.
when's it going to end? You know,
Doing their
you know
thing.
the result already after a short time.
10 minutes.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Like even the lower quality games that can be exciting. Talk about the Premier League. Some of the best games of the season are the bottom four teams battling it out at the end. You know. Anyway, what stood out for you guys in this round?
I liked how they had the women in league emphasis this year, and in the lineups they had a lady, the influential lady for the club. That was a nice touch, I think. It was really nice. So that was my standout. I liked seeing it. You know, they should. Last year it was tarnished with this scandal of what was it? The
Pride.
round.
Yeah.
So this year they made more emphasis on women, which is great.
And on the back of that, we were we weren't on point last week, Nicola.
For the same reason, it was overshadowed with the other crap.
Yes, and we talked about it after the pod. We said we missed that, and because of the kerfuffle today with the 50th episode, we didn't mention it. Today either. And I'm going to say something because I think the women in our lives are extremely important. You know what? My poor mum, from the age of 6 and 7, lugging me around the southwest and the southwest of Sydney, taking me from ground to ground. You know, a big thing back then for an ethnic woman. You know what? Our wives, our daughters. I pay homage to all women who have got anything to do with any male, anything, and that's I'm going to go there for what stood out.
That sucks for me because I didn't have that as a kid.
What's that?
I was one of those kids who stood out the front and someone else's parents picked you up.
Really?
For the game.
Yeah, my poor mum had no idea what she was doing. She sat in the car when I went train or played. She wouldn't even go watch the game, or she would sometimes. She had no idea what she was watching back then, especially. So look, I got to take my hat off to them, and even as we get older, and I'm sure Adi will have the same sentiment. Our poor wives, what they go through with us. Especially my ones.
What stood out for you, Adi?
No, I just said it. The woman.
The woman.
Oh, sorry.
I was on the back.
I was looking at the donuts again. Who gets the John Creese spray this week?
Oh,
mate.
Adi.
You know what? I want this guy to look at himself in the mirror and spray himself with John Creese.
What?
For those bloody trophies,
Craig
those
Bellamy.
2007 and 2009, parading those in front of Parramatta. That's disgusting.
You know, I've got to go there again. Annesley. I hate the guy.
I was tossing up between them two. Me too.
You know what? Why can't you sort of be honest? Why can't you call a spade a spade? Well, if you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong. And when you go to the judiciary, don't give the poor guy 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And who's on the judiciary? Give them a spray as well.
Guys who got suspended for a total of 3 years when they were playing.
Probably. I've got no
Bob
ideas on the
Linder's one
judiciary.
of them.
Oh, well, there you go. He was a regular.
Yeah.
He had his own seat there.
No, but he'll tell you it was a different time, right? So that's okay. For me, it's Clint Newton and the RLPA.
Yes. Him too.
The most disgraceful thing, putting tape over the NRL emblem.
Disgraceful.
Which has the Telstra premiership there.
Disgraceful.
I can't believe the NRL, and yeah, I'm taking a shot at you again. When are you going to come out and show some backbone?
Mm.
You know, when are you going to come out and show some backbone? The Telstra, what do they what do they contribute to the competition? You know, players not being interviewed. What do Foxtel and Channel 9 contribute to the competition?
Just money.
How about calling a bluff? Like I said last week, come out and say, guess what? You threatened to boycott the Dally M's? Well, we're cancelling them. There's no Dally M's this year. Players, don't get angry at us. Get angry at yourselves. Yeah. And by the way, no one's getting paid until everything gets back to normal. You want to leave? Leave. We'll tear your contract up. I'm sure there are youngsters willing to take your place for half the money.
What concerns me is, as a player, I'd be very concerned if the guy that's looking after our well-being is a guy that thought Jennifer Hawkins wasn't good enough and he dropped that. Like, honestly, that guy's got no vision by the looks of things.
I don't know what happened there, but you know what? I think it was Braithen Astor raised a really good point. I think it was Braithen Astor.
What do you say?
When you say Clint Newton is representing every player, most of the players don't even know what they're boycotting about.
Yeah, exactly.
If these players were being charged, like you know how a player pays their agent, they pays their agent, they pay their manager.
Yeah.
If Clint Newton was invoicing the players, how many of them would keep him on?
No.
Yeah.
No. Let me talk all about that stuff. It's childish. Get in a room, sort it out. Because seriously, both parties now, you Clinton are looking like a meme or like a fool, and NRL, man of feathers, sort it out. Pick up the phone, get on the facts, sort it out, get him in the room, because this is getting a little bit boring, yeah? Just a little bit boring.
21 months they've been negotiating?
It's shocking.
It's a negotiation. Get in the room, you're not going to get 100 points. You forget about it. And you know what annoys me the most, okay? The players want control of all the money aspects. Who's the employee? Who's the employer?
It comes back to you know what? I'm not going to mention the name. I work for a company that makes the NRL look like a lemonade stand, right? Yeah. I see this shit day in, day out. These people are purely incompetent. 21 months to negotiate a deal where the lunatics are running the asylum. 37% pay rise, and they're still arguing. Come on.
Crazy.
Manoli's player of the round.
I've got a bit of something I need to play for Manoli because I actually met up with him in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And went for a coffee, and I accidentally pressed my record. So I thought, I pressed my record. But anyway, I'll play what happened with me and Manoli. Yeah, so this is what happened.
Welcome to Star Michos. Can I take your order? Yes, I'd like a 1 Metrio, please.
There he is.
I'm sorry, 1 Metrios what? Metrio coffee. What exactly are you looking for? What's a Metrios coffee? Greek coffee, Metrio. We don't have Greek coffee. We have cappuccinos, frappuccinos, lattes, skim lattes. What the cappuccino, frappuccino, puccino και τα παπάρια του Carabella over here. You have frappuccino. I want a Greek coffee, Metrio.
Yeah, he was embarrassing, mate.
We don't have Greek coffee. What the hell you got it? We have frappuccinos, cappuccinos, lattes. And the sign says Cafe Michos. Yes, Cafe Michos. Okay, where is Micho? I want to speak the Michos, please. Michos is not here today. Alright, Michos is Greek, no? Yes, he's from Tripoli. Alright, he's from Tripoli. He doesn't know how to make a 1 Metro. He make a puccinos, cappuccinos και τα παπάρια του Carabella over here. We don't have...
Yeah, so that was my he's now been deported. So I don't think we're going to get Souvlaki packs this year because I think they locked him up. He actually went violent after that.
Really?
He really wanted his Metro coffee. So I think we might have to boycott it.
I could be off the mark, but isn't Tripoli in Lebanon?
That's Greece. Greece.
Okay.
It's Greece. But yeah, he got really aggressive. Like I accidentally pressed the record, so I thought, what's going to happen here?
Number one, I can't believe he followed you, number one.
Yeah, I met up with him, mate. So it was good to meet up with him. But yeah,
so is it now,
no Parmesan chips this week?
Well, Vaghetti's still pumping them out.
Vaghetti can do it, but he doesn't do as much. But if we were going to give it, mate, I went for a guy from a losing team.
Yeah.
I went for Lomax because the guy's been putting in for the last 4 weeks. He deserves a Souvlaki pack at least. So that's who I went for, mate.
Yeah. I'm going to put a smile on Adi's face, Nicola, and I'm going to put some egg on my face. Kalen Ponga.
Oh, wow.
Kalen Ponga.
There you go.
So Kalen Ponga's going to jump in the Ford Falcon, go down and pick up, go to Southside, pick up a Lomax. Who you got? Can Kalen pick your man up as well?
I'm going to go, and it's for one moment, Patrick Carrion.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, he has to fly down, and he'll pick him up at the airport.
They can pick him up.
Yeah, pick him up. Go south, pick up.
I just have a feeling that Carrigan's probably going to open it up and put some Smith's crisps in it.
Oh
Yeah, I don't think he's very
He doesn't like puns.
European cultured. Yeah.
Well, apparently Vergeli's got more of a temper than Manoli, so
Really?
it's going to be trouble. Yeah, I hope they don't piss him off too much. But anyway,
I can't believe you caught Manoli on.
I caught him there, man. Yeah, it was good.
I can't believe you couldn't get his coffee.
Artie, have you got some Ask Artie for us?
I got some spam. I got some Josephine. Yeah, look, while I was in Hawaii, I saw a couple of pigeons on the balcony, and then I noticed that there were some notes. So Josephine's getting very creative now. She's sending me courier pigeons. The first rumour, it was in regards to the nicest man in rugby league, Nico Hines. I don't know too much about this one. It must have happened last week. He was involved in a road rage incident.
What?
Yeah.
Nico?
Yeah, apparently he was trying to park his car, and there was a lady saying forward, 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 and then he lost it. He just lost his shit. So, do you know what's this forward thing with Nico? He doesn't like the word? Or?
Three times.
Three times. Yeah, apparently she told him and he lost his shit. The other rumour is, this is an old one now because it's actually come true. Josephina spotted Takiaho looking around the Bankstown Hospital medical facilities and was impressed. Apparently he's going to sign for the Bulldogs for $500K and shares in Medicare. So
he's got it. He's got it.
He's got it there.
He's got it.
And there's an announcement that's going to be made soon. Apparently this guy must listen to the podcast, Vince McMahon. Apparently there's going to be a new tag team called the Simpao Brothers. Tarek Sims and Marty Tapau are going to join together to become the... they're going to be in part of WWF next year. So
Marty will
that's
go well.
Josephina's. As for the spam mail, what have we got? Johnny M from Redfern. John Morris. He said, how good are the Sharks going? Even the Matilda scored more points than them last week. Johnny Morris. He must be still pissed. Jack from the ACT. Jack, what's he asking? How long till we start calling Ricky Stewart Nostradamus of the NRL? He predicted last year that Jermaine Salmon will be a dog. Well, there you go. That was a good prediction there from Jermaine.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
That was pretty good. And Ivan from Penrith, a very sincere one here. He goes, I hope Webster Who gets the Coach of the Year. 2 years ago it was Bellamy, then it was Peyton. Surely he deserves it. You know, this guy's done well. You know. Bit sarcastic there from poor Ivan. He's starting to feel it a bit. So you might get it this year, Ivan. Don't give up, man.
He deserves it.
He deserves it.
And you know what? That's what I miss. That's what I love about this podcast. Arthur Spam Mail. That's the one. Outstanding.
One thing I want to do with you guys is for the Ask Artie, I want to try and figure out what you guys think. I'm gonna rattle off the top 11 teams, right, and their run in. I want you to tell me what you think. If they're going to be in the finals or out.
Mm-hmm.
First one's a no-brainer. We've got Penrith, and their run in is Storm, Manly, Titans, Eels, Cowboys. Now, I'm predicting they're going to get 10 points out of that and finish on 44.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm first. They're a big chance.
Yeah.
I know it's not what you're asking, but I see a Penrith Broncos grand final.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that, yeah.
Well, the next game's the Broncos. They're on 34 points as well. Their run-in is Cowboys, Parramatta, Bye, Raiders, Storm.
So Parra's got both of those teams.
So I can see them getting probably 6 to 8 points out of that.
Yeah,
maybe the Panthers Cowboys might throw the spanner or the Storm, but
no, they'll come second.
They'll come second. 40-42 they'll finish on, which is a couple of points. Is that what you think?
I think so. Yeah. They're a chance to win the comp too.
The Warriors have got a good run. They're on third. They're on 30 points, 4 behind. Now, they've got the Titans, the Tigers, Manly, Saints, and the Dolphins.
I would love to see them
points.
finish top 4.
Is that 10 points though? You think?
Yes,
it's at least. I reckon.
I think it's top. I think it's 10 points.
Look, it's 6 to 8.
4.
Definitely 6 to 8.
That's top 4.
Well, that locks them in. You know,
yeah.
That will lock them in.
I would love to see them finish top 4. I really would.
They will. Imagine going to Auckland for a semi-final.
Yeah.
Well, they're 2 points ahead of 5th. So, you know, that's a very, very high possibility. And then locking up 4th, we've got the Storm on 30 points. They're 2 points above 5th. Their run home is Penrith, Raiders, Saints, Titans and Broncos. They've got a couple of tough ones there.
For the last 3 of those games, they'll have Pappenhausen.
Yeah.
They'll win the middle 2. and they'll be enough to make the 8.
They'll make an 8, yeah?
They'll make the 8.
Yeah.
Okay, if they win 6 to 8 points, they'll get the 30. Yeah, they should comfortably be there. On 5th, we've got the Raiders. Now, this is where it gets interesting because we've got the bottom part. So they've got the Tigers, the Storm, the Dogs, Broncos, Sharks. So that's 3 winnable games there, you'd think.
Sharks.
So you've got Tigers, Dogs, and the Sharks.
Don't miss out. For and against, don't miss out.
You reckon?
Don't miss out on for and against. How much points have they got now?
28. If they win those, if they beat the Tigers and the Dogs, gets them to 32.
That's in.
And the team coming 8th is 26. So
26. Okay.
So I think that the Raiders. What do you think, Nick?
They're in.
The Raiders?
I think they'll miss out.
No,
they can't. If they get to 32, that's the cut-off.
I reckon they'll get to 34.
34, because for and against is going to kill them. If someone's at 32 and they get 32, they won't get in because they're for and against.
I reckon they'll get 34. I reckon they'll beat the Sharks.
They'll beat the Sharks.
That's the last game. It might go down to that last game for the top 8.
We'll get to that last game.
The 6th, we've got South, and their run-in is the Sharks, Saints, Knights,
They'll be there.
Roosters.
They'll be there.
They won't lose a game.
They won't lose a game?
They finished with the Roosters last year as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, it's on
That's
purpose.
interesting,
They'll be there.
It's what's his name's draw again.
You know what? I still haven't been to Allianz Stadium this season.
Yeah, me too.
I've got to get out there.
Go that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
7th, this is where it gets tricky. Sharks, right? They've got Souths, Titans, Cowboys, Knights, Raiders. So 2 top 8 teams.
Cowboys,
Maybe
Knights.
3.
They won't make the cut.
They won't make it?
They'll lose all those games.
Gone?
They won't make the cut.
Cowboys. They got a pretty tough run. They got the Broncos. Luckily, they got the bye, so they get a bit of a rest. And they finish up with the Sharks, Dolphins, and Penrith. Now, Penrith might rest.
They'll squeeze in. Penrith will rest.
They might rest last game.
Penrith will have the minor premiership wrapped up.
Yeah.
You know what? They might even win every game.
Yeah, I've got a good feeling that the Cowboys might finish possibly top 4. Squeeze in against ahead of the Storm.
I hope so.
Now, the guys that are 9th, we've got the Knights. They're only 1 point from the 8, all right? So the Knights have got the Dolphins, the Dogs, Souths, Sharks, Saints. 4 easy games.
They're going to get in, man.
4 games. And their hard game is, what is it? Sharks, their hardest game.
Can I ask,
South, sorry.
if they win all 4, how many points are they on?
If they win all 4, they get 33 points. 35 points, sorry.
35?
35 points. No, 33. 33 points.
33?
Yep.
So they'll get in from that draw. You'll see. They're 33, because 32 will be cut off. 33, they'll be in, and the 32 will miss out. Whoever gets the 32 will miss out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you agree with that, Nick?
Yeah.
You reckon they'll sneak in?
Well, at 1 point.
They're playing good. They're playing good enough to be there.
Good.
And if they get there, they could do damage.
They'll be there. They'll be there.
Yeah. Well, then they'll play the team coming 5th. And what are we suggesting?
So we're looking at Raiders possibly, or
beat the
South. Could be a South versus Knights.
South for me are the unknown.
Yeah.
They're the X Factor team. Like they could do anything. They could go all the way. They could bomb out.
Could be a Storm.
I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then around the Manly and the Eels are the last 2 that could possibly make it.
I don't think either one of them will make it.
How many points are they on?
Well, they're equal with the Knights. Manly's got 25 points, and they've got the Roosters, the Panthers, the Warriors, and finish with Dogs, Tigers. So their last 2 games are pretty good.
They'll win 2 out of those games.
Yeah.
So,
well, if they win 3, they can get to 31. Not enough.
I don't think either one will get through, to be honest.
Yeah.
31's not enough.
And the Eels finish it off with the Dragons, 2 points there. Broncos, Roosters, Panthers, bye.
They'll beat the bye. They'll beat the bye.
Wait a minute. If they win 3, is that enough?
If they win 3, they finish 31.
Going to win, George?
31.
Which 3 are they going to win?
Dragons, Roosters,
Penrith,
bye.
Broncos.
No, Dragons,
Roosters, bye.
You think they'll beat the Roosters?
Yeah.
The way
Good
they're
chance.
playing?
Yeah.
There's a good chance.
The way they're playing?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
Roosters
see.
bye.
But 31 points might not be enough.
Because
they won't make it.
32 will get you in.
I said it a month ago. They won't make it. They just don't deserve to be there.
Yeah, but I'm still perplexed. Sorry, how the start of the year could be so hard, and then the back of the year be so hard, and the middle wasn't any picnic. How do they have so many hard games?
This is what it is. That's it. I don't know how they do the draw.
Doesn't it seem like they've always had a hard team?
Ask your mates at the NRL, because Cronulla and the Dolphins seem to have good draws.
Well, the Dolphins we know that magical dust was sprinkled because they've played twice out of Queensland, I think, or 3 times out of
Funny
Queensland.
that, huh?
Okay, but we knew that they're going to get the first 2 years. They're going to get every break.
But
We know
everything's automated from a computer, so
we know it's not.
yeah,
we know it's not.
Yeah.
Eddinghausen, bloody Eddinghausen.
But you know what?
Bloody Eddinghausen.
The last spot we've got Cowboys Sharks meeting up in 3 weeks, so that's going to be.
That'd be
I think that's going to be the last game. Decide. No, in 3 weeks' time.
Didn't the Cowboys roll them out last season?
Yes.
Yeah, so
first game.
it's going to go down, I think, to the wire.
Let's run into Crystal Ball.
Crystal Ball, yeah.
The upcoming, is it round 23 this week?
Yep.
Let's just run through quickly. Roosters, Seagulls.
Who cares?
Sorry. I've got a bit of interest with this. I'm going the Roosters. I don't think Manly were that good, and I think the Roosters can't afford to lose anymore. So, crunch game. Both can't afford to lose. So it's going to be a cracker. Might be game this week.
Yeah, Manly weren't that good, but they're going to be better than the Roosters. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gold Coast Warriors.
13 plus.
On the Gold Coast.
Yeah, Warriors.
13 plus.
Webster's got his sights on top 4, mate.
Panthers Storm.
Last time these two played was a cracker, so I'm assuming it'll be another one. So I'm going Panthers. It's at home. Yeah, Panthers for me.
13 plus.
Panthers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cowboy Bronco.
Is it? That's
North Queensland. Yeah.
Wow.
The Cowboys don't lose. The Cowboys team who's going to make the grand final doesn't lose back to back.
Dolphin Knights.
Cowboys, yeah, for sure. Dolphins Knights. I'm going Knights on good form.
They've got to win. Yeah, Knights have got to win. They've got to win.
Rabbitoh Shark.
Rabbitoh. Latrell.
Yeah, Rabbitoh will win and win well.
I can't see the Sharks turning it around.
30 plus, and it's in for some unknown reason it's in Perth.
Eel Dragon.
We'll be there. Hopefully, everything's fine.
De Bellin's a big out. He does a lot of cleaning up in the middle, so he's a huge out.
And on the back of De Bellin being out, I'm tending to lean to the Eels. I don't know.
If the Eels can't beat the Dragons, they don't deserve to even go near the 8.
It's Dylan Brown's first game back.
And that's the X factor there.
But they're still missing Sevo, Gillard. Blake's been dropped. Hands has been dropped, which is interesting.
Who's your hooker then?
Who's your hooker?
The guy who flew over from England last week, Joey Lussick.
Okay.
I've seen him in Super League. He was doing well in Saint Helens.
Raider Tiger.
Raiders have to win this.
Boil over Nicola in a cold, windy GIO stadium, and Tigers will get another victory.
I remember it was the year 2000, and we were at Andrew and Louise's place, their old place.
I know what you're going to bring up.
It was a Sunday. It was someone's birthday, and it was the storm in Canberra. I still remember that day.
I remember, yeah.
Wow, 23 years ago.
Do me a favour. If the Raiders get up against the Tigers, can you blokes give it to me, please?
Yeah.
Artie, just give it to me.
Absolutely. Mate, I still reckon the Raiders will make the 8, and we'll give it a shake.
No, definitely won't give it a shake.
You never know, man.
And George, you got some tidbits for us?
We've got some tidbits. We just haven't got the intro music. Nicola,
that's all right.
We've been following the plight of the world champions, Saint Helens, and this week they came up trumps.
There you go.
St Helens played Leeds, Nicola, at the Wicked Stadium there, what they call it. St Helens scored 22 and Leeds scored 18.
Mm-hmm.
Huddersfield scored 19 points, Nicola, and Hull FC scored 12. Hull KR scored 34, Nicola, and Castleford scored 16. So they're doing well for Smitty. Wigham. Unfortunately, I've got to give a bit of contents. They played the Lee Leopards, and Lee was on a 8-game winning run, Nicola.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately fell against Wigham, 44-18.
Wow.
But let's not forget the week before, They built themselves up to play Saint Helens in the Challenge Cup semi-final. And you probably don't know
That's
this.
right.
They beat Saint Helens.
They won. They're in the final.
Yeah, they're in the final.
First time.
So, look, I think it's just a bump in the road. I don't think it's a big one, Nicola. But they did fall. Catalans, Nicola, scored 42 against Salford's 0. And lucky last. Wakefield Trinity, the team come in last and predicted not to win a game, scored 42, and Warrington scored 6 points. Nicola,
wow.
they're on a they're on
struggling.
They're on a 8 run losing streak. Because of this loss, their coach got sacked. Nicola, the coach got sacked, and Dufty should be shown the reserve grade. If they've got a reserve grade in England, they should show him the reserve grade because he's terrible. The top 6 in England, Nicola, is Catalans on 30. Wigan, which I think is the best team in Super League, 26. Our team, Nicola, Lee Leopards, 26. Somehow, I have no idea how they've
Top
done this.
4.
St Helens on 24. And they've played 2 good games all year. I'm telling you now, they've played 2 good games all year. And you know what? They're going to win the comp. They're going to win the comp. I know. You just know it. Hull, KR, 22, Nicola, and Warrington. How, again, on a 7-run losing streak, they're still coming 6th in the top.
Jeez, 7 games lost, and they're still coming 6th.
Yeah, but they won their first 8 or 9 games
You know what they
straight.
should do? I reckon that the bottom 3 teams of the NRL should go to England and play the Super League and win a chance next year.
Maybe a relegation promotion.
Relegate, and then bring the top 3 over to Australia.
Yeah. The NRLW, just very quickly, Nicola. The Broncos 16, Titans 17. Field goal.
Yeah.
Extra time.
Wow.
Outstanding game, Nicola. And Broncos being loaded as they are. And the Titans being a newer team. They turned up with the victory. Nicola, another new team. Raiders 24 beat the star-studded Roosters 14.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was full of passion, full of care, full of love. Some names you might know. A centre called Wiki. Absolutely... He's got a daughter.
Wow.
Absolutely carved up.
Jeez.
Nicola...
It's not Ruben Wiki dressed as a girl?
No, it's not.
Well, maybe.
Well, no. Nicola, the Dragons, 36 unfortunately beat our team, Parramatta 12. Nicola.
Paris are really shit, aren't they?
I didn't want to say anything last week, Nicola, but they were predicted for the wooden spoon.
Yeah, I could tell that after they lost by 60 points to a team that didn't exist last year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Look, they
were in the grand final too.
That was like 2 comps ago.
That was last year.
Yeah, but they played twice, 2 comps last year. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. But they got depleted. They got ripped. They got a lot of players ripped out. What can I say? Actually, Dragons played well. The Knights, the last year grand finalists and winners, Nicola, went down to the Cowboys.
Wow.
Went down to the Cowboys, and you know the new team.
Cowboys or Cowgirls?
Cowgirls. Well, they're called Cowboys, but Cowgirls, 31-20, and the Cowgirls look good.
Yeah?
The Cowgirls look good, yeah. And I think the West Tigers, ladies team, have won more games than, or will win more games than the men. They beat a star-studded Sharks, Nicola, somehow, 10-0, and they looked $1 million. I've got to admit.
Wow. Is that 2 wins in a row for them, is it?
There's 2 wins in a row now.
There you go.
2 wins in a row. 2 wins in a row. People asking me what pods I've been listening to. Have you listened to Smitty?
No, I haven't.
The Parrot Cave?
No, I have to.
No.
Okay.
That's on my list.
I know you blokes like Smitty, and if you like Smitty, listen to it, and I'll tell you why. He opens up and I saw a different side of Smitty.
Yeah.
And I know why I don't like him now. Okay? No, but you will love him. For the reasons I don't like him, you will love Smitty. He was very open. For some unknown reason, the sleeping pill got heaps out of him. So, Troy.
Yeah.
Got heaps out of him, and yeah, it was great. there's a pod called Unfiltered, and they had Potsy on it. Okay, and you know what? Potsy's an interesting man.
Yeah.
Isn't that Andy Raymond?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's a very, very, very interesting man. And James Graham had back-to-back Wayne Pearce and Bradley Clyde.
Yeah.
And both interviews were very, if you like that era of rugby league, very, 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 very good. And talking about Potsy Nicola, he's the player in reviews.
Profile, yeah.
Oh,
Player profile. He played for the Dogs while he was playing for the Dogs, Nicola, 1982. He was still going to St. Gregory's high school.
College.
Wow.
Yeah. We know that he won the Dally M 1983 for fullback. And he won the Dally M. Do you know he won his first comp 1984 in the grand final 6-4 over Parramatta?
The Dogs, yeah.
Yep. Then the year after that, Nicola, he in '85 he beat St George 7-6.
Playing for Canterbury. He went to St George the year after, did he?
Well, what happened in that game? He got injured.
Yeah.
Okay, and he had a few injuries during the year. So the Bullfrog showed him the door, unfortunately, and St George swooped in and picked him up. I was telling Arthur that he had a little bit of an unhappy time at the start at St George, just couldn't fit in somewhere.
Yeah.
But after the first year, Nicola, after a few years, he picked up another Dally M 91, and he played partially 5'8", partially fullback, which Artie doesn't remember.
Yeah, wow.
I remember the fullback, never 5'8".
Yeah,
I don't remember him playing 5'8".
I don't. You know what? Can I be honest? I don't remember him playing 5'8", but between the notes I read and the interview I heard, okay, that's how I picked that up.
Yeah.
He captained the side that year as well, Nicola.
Yeah, I remember that.
He lost a grand final against the Broncos.
92?
No, I didn't write the.
It would have been 92.
92 or 93 would it have to be.
Well, they're the ones that we lost, maybe.
Yep. So he must be 92. I didn't write the year there. So he lost the grand final in 92. Do you know he played for the Dogs, St George, and Western Reds?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
He played Western Reds. He got a phone call, and there was a lot of young guys.
Was that 95?
They needed a mentor. I didn't write that either. Sorry, mate. I didn't write that. But this is what I find interesting. You know, as a coach, we think he's just coached in Australia. Yeah?
No, Australia. In England, he killed them.
Yeah. He coached Catalans. He coached Saint Helens, won a grand final, and he's got a 78% win ratio with St Helens.
That's massive.
That's good.
Yeah. He's coached Bradford to a grand final and lost. We know he coached West Tigers and had an unhappy time there. And obviously he coached the Dogs for a short time.
He didn't do too badly at the West Tigers.
Yeah, he got shafted, didn't he?
Yeah, he was doing okay.
Didn't he have a fallout with Farah?
Something like that. I think it was it Jason Taylor that replaced him?
Yes.
He wasn't doing too badly.
Yeah, I
think
in fact, I could be wrong. I think he's the last coach to take him to the finals.
He probably is.
Yeah.
He probably is. But I mean, he's a what I tried to point out with that he's a well-rounded coach.
No, absolutely.
And we saw it when he took the Dogs over.
Yeah, he was a great player. I used to love watching him play.
I agree.
And you could see he was going to be a coach too back then because he was really bossing everyone around. Like he knew his stuff. It was great.
I'll give you one more stat, and we'll talk about our memories about him. Do you know he coached Fiji?
Oh, really?
And the interesting part about that is that out of 8 games, he won 5, lost 3. Obviously, a 63% success ratio. The guy everywhere he's gone is a winner.
Yeah,
he's a winner everywhere he's gone. Now, I remember him at Canterbury at fullback, and he got the Dally M because he was the best player on the field, the best player in the team. He just fed off those Gillespie. He fed off all those big fours that we had. He was running off Farah. He was outstanding.
Yeah.
Loved watching him, and who can forget? Him out wide, just screaming away for tries. And I'm sure you got similar views.
Similar views, mate. Because I remember at St George, I love watching him play at the mostly fullback. But But he used to play heart and soul, mate. He used to really run hard. He'd create a gap out of nowhere. He was really good, and he'd just organise the line. He can read defence. He can organise defence as well. So he was a great player.
Oh, I can't remember that, but this was before we knew about outside shoulders and this and that. And I'm telling you now, between the two centres there, they used to say, chime into the fullback, chime in outside of getting balls from again Farah or Bar. The guy just carved up badly, and obviously he's got 2 Dally M's, so he's given. I know he gave me a lot of pleasure, and I know he's given Artie a lot of pleasure.
Good memories of him, absolutely.
A lot of pleasure along the way. I gave you the rant, the NRL rant, a bit premature, Nicola, and the song of the week, Nicola, on the back of Adi coming back. Remember a show, I think 70s, might have been early 80s, Welcome Back, Cotter?
Of course.
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Welcome back.
Well, that's the song that's going to play at the end of the...
It's not going to be standard procedure, whatever they're called. What are they called?
Standard procedure.
Brother Louis.
Brother Louis. Do you want Brother Louis?
What are they next week? I want Brother Louis.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do...
Because just to fill Artie in, I saw one of those funny posts on Instagram of some 80s band with the hair, and it was hilarious. And then when I played it for George, he started singing it.
Yeah, modern talking. Modern talking.
What do I call them? Standard procedure.
One of our favourite bands.
Modern talking, standard procedure, same thing.
Else? Cherry lady, something like
everything,
that.
Mate.
That's the best. Kills me.
And that's me, Nicola.
Thanks for that
today.
Comprehensive rap, George. Yeah. And that's it, boys. That wraps up.
That goes 50.
Episode 50.
Yeah.
Wow.
What are we going to do for 100? Now,
I don't know.
I want to cut this so we can hack into these donuts here.
Me too. I just want to say that I'm still buzzing from what Wonder Boy did. On video.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, that was fantastic.
But he's to another 50 episodes, boys.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys, and looking forward to many more to come.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. Hope you had some good laughs, and we'll see you next week.
Happy Rugby League,
Rugby League, everyone.
Bye bye.